Don't worry, everyone. Show's almost ready to begin. Have you ever considered what would happen if you were to run a hand mixer through a bowl of peas? You would have created world peas. Ah! 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 The actual show is about to begin. He's almost here. He just needed to go get his addiction. Hey guys, how you doing? I just got here in time for the end of the music track. I'm a little bit rushed, trying to get everything ready, trying to get all the haul stuff in place. It was all slipshod, scattershot all over the place. I thought I'd have time when I got home, but instead I got home and then my guts were like, "It's time to use your inner muscles, kid." And I was like, "Yes, coach. Hi, coachy," and I did my best. Hi, everybody. Who all's here? Who all do I see here, even if you're not here anymore? What is up? XCatX25, that toy guy from X and Twitter. Sideswipe Prime, Dynamo Dave, Adamus Prime, Scorp X7, John Thomas Jones, Philip Faubion, April Powered, Adam Billmoo, TM Reviews, Face Forward, PT, I know I saw one more in here somewhere, Griffman, Non-F Productions, who is working, and Robot Lorekeeper. How what we doing, y'all? I'm here today to readjust my microphone a little bit. Sometimes you gotta wrestle with the thing, make it do what you want. I'm gonna be going through my TFcon haul and also opening up 2 little toys, and then I'm gonna see where we're at time-wise, because oh, hello, Blue Desayo. How's it going? I got little rewards for myself as well, in addition to all this stuff, for finishing all my tasks last week, and I haven't touched them because I wanted to stream opening them. However, I want to stream this TFcon stuff first, so I want to see where we're at time-wise, if it's remotely feasible to stuff in those other two things as well, because on Thursday I'm going to be streaming some more Elden Ring. And I'm going to be trying to, every Thursday, stream some Elden Ring until I feel satisfied with my having played Elden Ring, ideally around abouts in time for some DLC. I'm not sure how to proceed with all the streaming plans I want to do. I want to find a spot somewhere, so every, let's say, maybe not every week, but at least every 2 weeks, I want to try to steal Aaron and go through the news. I just don't know what day of the week that would work best for me, let alone Aaron. Without even thinking about Aaron, just assuming Aaron is like a person in a little box I can deploy like a Pokemon, I still don't know what day would work best for me for that. So we're just going to roll along. I'm going to try to stream, though, some gaming every Thursday and something else every week. So at least 2 streams a week if things go okay. Since streams make my brain feel better, I feel like if I run into a point where I'm like, damn, I just don't feel like I can do anything, then why not do a stream and unclog my pipes and squirt some fresh nitro into my neurons? By the way, in case you're wondering what was up last week, hopefully you've now seen it since it came out yesterday, our little group April Fool's project deployed. A couple of us decided, 9 of us, decided to form a little human circle and do a little identity theft with a playlist. So my Dragonstorm video was part of that, and that was gonna be review number 449. So last week I was sitting there looking at that fact, going like, this should be review number 440. So I thought, well, let's just make a review 449 while I'm making this one, so it can be 450. And that was the Windblade video. And anyway, that was a little intense. And then after that was all done, I was like, damn, this is usually where I crash. No crashing. Instead, yesterday, I'm trying to get my times all straight here, I wrote the script for my next video, which is going to be Legacy Evolution Animated Prowl. So that script is done and recorded. I got to actually film the footage for it in the articulation segment. But that means the momentum continues. Today I went out co-working, and among other things, I more or less finished. There's, still a little bit of work to be done on the front and back of it, but the bulk of the work is now done on a Why Do We Enjoy the Toy panel I gave at Capital City Comic Con 2019. And I have, I think, discovered 2 other ones that I did in 2018. One of them might not have video footage. However, I'm going to try to release both of them separately anyway, so the series is complete. I don't know what I'll do with all that precisely, but I have identified the remaining 3, one of which is now just about done. Why Do We Enjoy the Toy installment? So the full series will exist eventually. So that's our problem. We'd love to see momentum on the Vangelis channel. Me too. I love momentum. Production secrets. Ain't no secrets here, dog. We got no... I just speak in language that doesn't make sense. Momentum, hell yeah. 2018-29 content, that's right. We're gonna see some extremely right before everything exploded footage. This 2019 panel, looking at myself, like my body language is even different, because it's like, everything's fine. Everything's okay. We're sorting it all out. And we got a bright new decade ahead of us. And I'm just so childlike and naively not knowing what's about to happen. Unclogged pipes on clearance. I mean, I'm clearing them out as much as I can. Target exclusive unclogged pipes. No leaks. VDO games. Yeah, that's our Elden Ring. Spanish for the Den Ring, which is part of the lore of the Elden Ring. What we're doing, I mean, 2019, we had a form of hope, but now I think we have stronger hope, because now we know what happened. And I went on a little rant on Blue Sky coming on, because I'm hitting this month, and I want to keep doing what I want to do, and I want to keep moving forward, and more importantly, because I've been exposed to so many wonderful things like co-working and just environments of folks who are just affirming and in a way that is just so fruitful and helpful for productivity, creativity, etc. I want to see how much of that I can spill all over the floor, because whatever I'm doing, I'm generating excess. I'm generating excess nitro. I got excess goo spurting out of every little hole in my head, splattering all over the windows, dripping off the ceiling, and I want to get it all over all of you to help you out as well. We're gonna share so much goop from inside of our brain holes. It's gonna be so inspiring. Anyway, that's what I'm hoping. This month, I really want to do for all my talk about how am I gonna fit all these other streams in. I want to do production streams this month. I want to do the little series that I said I would do when Dr. Lockdown was saying I should do production streams, and I said yes, you should, and if you do it, I'll do it too. Well, Dr. Lockdown did production streams, so I now owe it not only to him but to my own personal honor. So I sorted some stuff out on the V-Scord, the Discord, the Evangelist Discord, and I think I can, with some security of mind, say I now am able to stream every part of my production process. I can't do it all in one go, because I have to jump between machines. And some of it is probably going to be very difficult to be a good streaming host. That is basically anything that's happening off of the MacBook, because I'm either going to be filming or editing, and I've realized that is sort of hitting a limit of how much I can split my brain open. But I want to try to find a figure that I haven't written anything or filmed anything for other than the packaging, and then we'll just, from scratch, on stream, we're going to script, I'm going to script the video, but I'll share it with you all while I'm doing it. Gonna film it, gonna record the audio, gonna edit the thing, gonna do little reshoots if we gotta, and ideally, those streams, less so will they be about, like, oh, here's how we make a video. I'm hoping more so they will be about, hey, let's manufacture the virtual version of a co-working environment where, hey, your buddy Chris Vangelis Internet is doing his little thing, but if you've got, like, writing to do, graphics work to do, mathematics to do for some reason as an adult, I don't know why, but apparently some of you do that, then ideally those streams would also create, it won't be the same, but ideally it'll be a similar vibe to a nice chill co-working environment. I like to put my corpses in and outside of my coliseums. Crowdsourced commentary. No, that would spoil, like, footage even. Like, there's some stuff I film where I need the audio, so I can't have noise coming out of stuff. Also, script jams. A script jam would be a different thing. I think that would be for after we've done one round of this. Crowdsourcing an entire review would be fun, but I would want to do that after I've done it once or twice the normal way. Because also I'd want to pick something that I don't have lots to say about. Because I'm selfish. Anyway, that's all some little fireworks going off in my head, because it's April, and there's things I want to do in April, and I think that if I make up more things I want to do, that all can kind of, like, interlock and jigsaw together. It's not about making sure they all actually happen. It's just going forward with eager intent, and if things don't happen, don't work out, we'll just do them next month. We'll see how it plays out. But that's a little bit intro chatter. What's the time? Have I only been talking for, like, what, a minute? Oh no, I've been talking for, like, over 15 minutes? Oh no, wait, there was music playing beforehand. Anyway, sounds like a thing we could use to work on stuff. You got writing. Yeah, here's the thing. It's not, nobody's brain works the same as everyone else's brain. It's always going to be different for people. I am astonished how much co-working and eager, affirming creative environments with little collectives and groups. I'm amazed how much that is done from my own creative. I hate the word productivity for this, because much like I hate the word content. Those are all kind of like befouled words, but I don't know a better word for it. So hopefully you all know what I mean. But it's been so helpful to me, and I think that you all have noticed that things have been puttering along here a little bit strengthily in the last little while. What's up, V Rider? How you doing? Anyway, I'm going to switch us over to a desktop view, because we got to get into some of this TFcon stuff. And I'm going to be leaning off screen a whole bunch, so it's easier if I'm on the desktop view. The stuff from painting last week is still on my desktop, so this is it's what we call a visual callback. It's a bit of continuity. It's a little bit of a visual leitmotif, and hopefully you all enjoy seeing the paint again. But I'm also going to get this keyboard out of the way. Alright, so this is all over here. Let's start off with the stuff that you know. Blue Desio. Puttering strengthily is the story of my life. Yes! Flex! Anyway, I think I talked about this on one of the last streams. And let's give you a second. Let's give you another second. Alright, I'm just gonna go and manual focus this. Once upon a time, I feel this thing was working towards the greater good and not against it. But we know how to fix that. We got sliders. Yeah, autofocusing at something that doesn't exist. Oh! There we go. So these are some little metal figs by Jada. These were gifted to me by the designer, which was really cool. So I even got. I'm not gonna show the back because I got the designer to sign these. But this was a really kind gift and something that you can't see at all. This is way the hell too blown out for you to see it. Is that this one has like a sort of pearlescent finish on some of the scales that have like that slightly pinkish shimmer, and it looks great in person. It's completely invisible on the camera right now, so just take my word for it. This was at one point a spoiler for a movie, but I don't know. It's not really on my radar, so I just think these are neat. And I enjoy the backstory to these things. Did you notice the position of Godzilla's tail in relation to the dimensions of this packaging? I think that's really cool. Among many other things, I think that kind of stuff is very cool. V-Rider, the sculpt and paint on Godzilla and Kong in particular look fantastic. Yeah, they're super nice. They look way better in person too. Like this, I have the lights kind of up because I never know with Transformers. But this, in its giant glossy window box, is suffering as a result of my current lighting setup. But yeah, Godzilla X Kong, Godzilla cross Kong, Godzillong. So that's just gonna chill out over here as also a marker for where the edge is. All right. So I'll show the major loots first. Let's get this guy out of the way. I'm gonna get him out of the way. I got that Fans Hobby Wingman, and I spent the whole evening doing research on this clown. So let's get the really bad part out of the way first. You see that gold on his cheek, and you see the gold up there, and the gold right there. That's where the black paint on his helmet just chipped the hell off, flaked off like dead skin. It stopped. It's not flaking off anymore. But this head is cast in the same plastic as these. So all of that helmet stuff is painted, and it bangs around in there, and it's hella chipped. So I'm just living with it. Whatever, you know. But that's the least of the problems. So this guy is based on Fans Hobby's Hydra. And what made this guy make more sense to me is that this was the second one they released. I heard so many good things about the Buster that they put out. And then when I was messing with this guy, as the hours went on, I was like, is this just not a very good toy? So I looked up reviews of the Hydra, and all the reviews of the Hydra, for the most part, were, well, they sure made this guy because they had to. And that's the general feeling on this piece. I kind of like him, but I mostly like him because I know he goes with a nicer figure that I'm going to be picking up at a later date. I've got a secured scenario going on. I like the colors a lot. I love the size of the jet mode, but there are lots of little super silly dumbass things on this figure. The wings are a problem. TM reviews, I think I looked at your videos were among the many where I was trying to deduce what the hell was going on with this toy. Because I was like, what is this? Is this me going from my first Fans Hobby toy was Athena, who I thought was pretty mid. And a lot of people told me, like, oh yeah, the tiniest figures they do are not the good ones. And then I get a giant jet, and I get, like, the mid one that they did. So, A bunch of little things about him. This thing here, if you mess with his arms, right, they're on these little, like, you can see the pin there, right? They're on these weird, like, double flap things. It's very easy if you don't do a thing I did for these to push in. You can still kind of do it. And, oops, you collapse that. It's not really clear this even expands in the first place, but he doesn't look as good when it's collapsed. If you follow the instructions, right, it's way harder to slide these parts out than it is to collapse them in. I already forgot what parts move on this. Oh, right, it's because it's easier to fold the chest plate out and then figure it out this way. Okay, so that's how it clicks out, right? So you do all that, but you'll notice it locks in up here, right, with some friction. Down here, ain't no friction. Ain't no friction, none whatsoever. Until it goes in, then it clicks into place on the in position. So, I figured out this is kind of on a bit of a rail, so I just accidentally one day pulled it too far and clicked it off its rail on the bottom. It's harder to do now that I'm trying to show it. I don't think I can actually show you what I'm doing. There we go. So I unseated the bottom. That actually kind of locks this open enough that it doesn't self-implode when I pick up the figure by his shoulders, for instance, by accident. So that was something I solved. The color scheme is gorgeous on this. I love this. I think this head sculpt looks amazing. And I love these, because I had these specific launchers when I was a child. None of them survived because they don't. But I really like these things. I spent a good day and a half thinking these missiles didn't fit in here, because when you stick them in, you kind of have to really jam them in the first time. I had to, like, break through some, I guess, like, caked up paint or something. Yeah, the other big problem on this guy are the wings. I saw TM reviews, you mentioned the heels. I don't understand what's up with this heel design myself. I found this really confusing that it has a specific area to tab in, because this slides over. So in vehicle mode, it tabs on there, and you untab it, and it's got this other thing to tab onto, but doing that makes the heel no longer really in contact with the ground. At a glance, I have since, while messing with this, kind of figured that this heel does work in its own way, but it was a very strange thing to look at first blush. One thing I learned is that the dark wing version, the Buster version, or the Hydra version, the one that came out second, this guy reaps the benefits of that one, where there's a slight slider there. It really clicks in nicely on this one. Apparently on the first colorway, that was just doing that all the time. But the wings, oh boy, these things, you have to just... Actually, one already did it. Okay, yeah, so you kind of just have to accept, right? These wings, they kind of collapse and peg in. That little nub, right, that you can see there, that nub will peg in. Up here, visually, it looks like you're supposed to push this in more. You can't. It's just kind of janky, and it just kind of holds in a little bit. So it will come loose a lot. It doesn't flop around, really. It's just annoying. I'm very much a person who gets satisfaction out of everything clicking together in the end. And this guy, I had to sort of work through some feelings about how he doesn't do that in a lot of spots. Okay, Face, you've got the Lernaean version. Yeah, it's strange. The other one, and so you'll know what I'm talking about with this next thing. Okay, it's already done it. So, these wings do not need this little... There's this weird little... where's my thumb? Where's my finger? There it is. This weird little thing, right, that can flip out of the wing, and it's a little L hook, right, that goes into that little slot there. Ain't no way you're just gonna hook it in there, because the swivel it's on is loose enough that it just gets bumped out of the way. And if you already have this wing in place, there's no room in there. So you could bust out a tool, but if you just unhook the wing, swing it out here, you can kind of eventually just massage that little thing into place, and it'll kind of hold, right, for a while. But I just clicked part of his chest in. It's happening. It's happening again. So there, I got it in. Hooray. it's not really necessary. But the fact that it exists makes me get annoyed that it doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know what all was that felt like. I was gonna say I don't know what all was going on. I can kind of guess with some empathy that that was a thing that was being designed and it continued to be designed, and eventually everyone knew what it was, to the point where there was no reason to remove it. But when you're a new user, it's kind of like, why what's this thing trying to do? Ain't no way this thing's gonna work. Yeah, TM reviews, it will pop out again. That's the thing, is as you mess with this guy, that tiny thing, it's real easy for it to just wiggle loose, right? But as you can see, at least right now, all the various hinges and swivelly doodads that the wing is on, it keeps it in place anyway. And even if you don't have these things perfectly aligned, this dude has so much wing in so many directions. He kind of looks fine anyway. So a lot of the fitment problems with the wing stuff, it's mostly just that I can see that it's happening, and this was expensive, and that's the part that kind of makes me go like, man. I'm gonna take a sip. I have transformed this guy into the half jet because he can do the combination thing, and the safest way to do that, I'm not going to go through the whole process, is you kind of have to start him off as a jet, and then 40 to 60% transform him, and then redo that transformation in the other direction after you move 2 wing parts over. I figured out a way to do it faster. You just kind of... The only thing is, you kind of have to flex this around and slide it around a bunch, and you're not bending plastic, but I could see it being uncomfortable. I don't think that the way I was doing it was putting anything at risk. I don't want to go through all that right now. I'm going to try to film it at some point. But I think I figured out a way to do it without having to undo the legs, for those of you who know. But also, it's way safer to undo the legs. TM Reviews, I actually made a request to TCP and Fans Hobby to see if they could fix some of these issues for the exclusive. Believe it or not, they have done that before, but chose not to this time. Sad face. Yeah, number one, thank you very much for doing that. I don't really know Fans Hobby's communication lines all that well, but on behalf of everyone, I appreciate that you tried. And I guess I could see a scenario where, well, one of two things. One, maybe they already had this thing in production due to the other one existing, so maybe it was already too far along. Number two, and this one's kind of a bummer, I wonder if they have been trying to fix these little wing issues. I wonder if maybe it's just not working. Like, you know, who knows? But everything is... this is all involving, like, sliders and push-in, push-out parts. I could see that there's just, like, a cascade effect of moving parts where, like, this design is at its best right now, and they might have needed to, like, really redrawing board things to better fix it. And maybe because this is probably the last time they're using this design, maybe they just were like, it's not worth the extra expenditure. But either way, not a good first impression toy, but thank goodness, little egotistically, I guess, thank goodness I thought to go and do a whole bunch of research instead of just being mad. So at least I know the context of this figure now. And it's thanks to, like, you know, TM Reviews, you and everyone else who did a whole lot of coverage on these things, that I'm not sitting there in a complete state of befuddlement. What else is there to say? He's got a little guy. I do like this. This is sort of understated. I think if there had been little flip-out clips back here, it would have been clearer and more satisfying, but these, like, little blocks that are the cover that the Power Master can go in, when you fold the nose cone down in just the right way, they kind of align as a platform for these things, these parts, to sit on, and I think that's really cool, and kind of understated. It's not the most important thing in the world. I just think that's neat. That's the kind of geometry that makes me happy. I would also love to see official Predators. Anything with the Predators would make me happy, because those toys were childhood things of mine. Anyway, this was the most expensive thing I bought. It was a little bit of a... At $160 US, I was kind of like, oh man, by the end of it. But I do like the vibe, and I do like the size. I memean, this thing was way bigger than I expected it to be, because I don't have a lot of experience with Fans Hobby stuff. I thought this guy was going to be like 2 inches shorter. The jet mode, because this entire thing flips forward, right? The jet mode's frigging enormous, and if you can get the wings to play nice, and I kind of have figured out some ways to get the wings to play nice. It's real swooshable. So I got to imagine the combined jet mode is imminently swooshable. Akan Lord. Oh, you got this guy yourself. You haven't taken him out of the box. Or I'll show you in case you missed this early on. Be careful with the head. The head is cast in the golden plastic, so everything else is painted. So as you can see, the black on the helmet chipped on mine super duper fast from going inside the cavity that it goes in for jet mode. So, like, you know, it might be inevitable on, like, the upper parts here. And also, I don't think it looks that bad as a highlight, but be aware, because I kind of just assumed that this was black plastic. I saw earlier it surely would be easy to paint match. I actually don't know, because Fans Hobby's black paint has a certain satiny finish that a lot of hobby paints don't inherently have. So if I were to just, like, go at the stuff with a Sharpie or a Gundam marker or something, there would be a different reflective finish on those spots, and I don't know if that would actually make it worse than how it is right now. Like, this at least has some character, you know? This looks like, you know, this is where Wingman famously got punched by his friend when they, you know, had their big Yakuza fist fight, etc. Tamiya's semi-gloss black might be decent. It might be. I think I would rather start with something really matte and then touch it up with a mixture of matte and gloss top coat with a brush, you know, just like dabbing it on a little bit, trying to get that slightly frosted look. Yeah, I don't mind this guy, but he certainly was not. I was expecting him to be as much of a, you know, excellent experience as I had been told the counterpart is. But, as I said, it was very affirming that all of the review folks who covered this guy made it very clear that, like, the other one is way better. And thus, it was like, don't know why this one didn't end up as good as the other one, but I know one of the coverage pieces, like, at least intimated the idea of maybe they really put a lot into the first one, and then, while working on this one, kind of went like, actually, maybe this is not turning, just inherently ain't turning out as well as the other one. I don't know. Wing struts can break and are thinly attached. I don't think they can. I mean, they are on little hinge thingies, but these don't feel fragile. Certainly, they are, like, small enough that if you were to, like, really wrench on them, that could mess them up. So, you know, like, don't do that. Be kind. But nothing about this feels like it's going to break itself. Like that kind of, like, fine line. Wheeljack 64 Marksman is much better. Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying. Blue Desayo, just do all the black at one time. So I was thinking about that, but, like, I like this black, so I'm like, I think I would make it worse if I went over top of all the black with a new black. Like, I feel like that's adding more vectors for failure on my part. So I'm just living with it right now. Like, it doesn't bug me that much, because it happens to be in highlight spots, and it looks like a highlight color. These top two I actually didn't notice for a while, because I thought they were just light reflecting off of the helmet. It just dunked the whole toy in black. Just friggin' go get some Vanta black dip. Also, thing to note, if you haven't picked up Wingman, or you've got one on order, and this matters to you, he has a gigantic box, because he's packaged in a flat pack in jet mode. So his box is enormous. Like, if anyone got Huntsman, was it? The, you know, the Stalker. That one comes in a nice little compact box and everything. This guy does not. It comes in a gigantic square. Specifically talking about the rods, the main wings are attached that go into the sliders. The point on the rod that connects to the wing is broken on many dark strikes. I think that was one of the things that they were confirmed to have tweaked on the second version, which is inherently this version. Because that's the one thing I understand, is that this guy did inherit all the enhancements to the design that the second colorway got. Space word, a mule to huntsman for a friend, relieved it was small. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Transcoded Titan, the, hello, by the way. The trying to get that box into my carry-on luggage was my one moment of, like, I thought the box was gonna be smaller. So I didn't think this would be a problem, but it was tricky. I think mine might have gotten banged up a bit, but I don't really care. Just send the head to Chromlocamus. I'm not just gonna go like, hey, you, painter, fix this, you know? That'd be nice. Chris Muse, I remember thinking the Stalker box was way bigger than I expected it to be. Kind of the same at the time, but then I thought, well, this must be the heights of it, and then I got this guy's box, and it was like... Cool box, though. I like the style on these, and if this is like... If this is where they halt things, if this is the trio that they do, it's already a really strong trio to me, like, aesthetically. The fact that they all have a little Power Master version of themselves, putting all kinds of headcanon in my head, kind of gets me excited. No, you say, hey, you paint and fix this, please. I can't do that. I gotta be a big tough guy. I gotta maintain my image, or, you know, for all the locals, they gotta know that I'm a big, strong, you know, Kisama, Anyway, I'm gonna move this guy out of the way. I was wondering if I could just leave him here, but I think he's gonna tip over if I do that. No light piping, right? No, he's got light piping. It's permanent light piping. That's what we call fluorescent paint now. It's a 2024 thing, but it's light piping. It's just always on. It's like a bonus feature. Oh wait, sorry. TM Reviews GRR artwork. Is that Get Right Robot? Am I catching that right? Because yeah, the artwork on the. Okay, let me hang on a second. Yeah. Because yeah, the artwork is sick. I wouldn't mind highlighting some of it. Yeah, I love this artwork. Especially on the lip of the box, just having the huge visor profile. I love this. This is so friggin' cool. In general, if you do this with your toy packaging, I get way more into it, because it just, I don't know, something about the aesthetic I really like. Oh, this is the other bummer, but this is just me not doing research. I just kind of assumed I'd be able to have the Power Master guy sit in the cockpit somehow, but he can't. And I was kind of like, damn it. And then I got over it. But that was another little kind of like bummer for me, because I just assumed, because Stalker could do it. I was like, oh, surely there's like a little divot for him to sit in, but it's like, nah. And it's mostly because that nose cone, this whole chunk, right, it just folds up as a giant hunk and sits on the back. I'm like, dude, could there not have been room to like have a little man just chill out in there? Anyway, this is the really cool part. Let's get a look at that friend. Yeah, Transcoded Titan, the eyes behind the visor is like such a touch. Yeah, TM Reviews, missed opportunity. It's like, the cockpit is physically too small for the Power Master to fit in, but I'm like, since the only other thing going on in here is landing gear, just cheat it, you know? Just have the whole thing fold up so I can put the little guy in, then close it on top of him so I know he's in there. I don't know, that's just me. Beauty, 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 beauty. Have I seen Picky Peeves? Hello. Have I seen Takashi Miike's Ace Attorney? I need to see it properly. I watched it when it came out at a friend's house, and I wasn't in the right mood, and a lot of it kind of rolled off me. As is sort of the story with me and Miike's license stuff so far, other than Crow's Zero. But a lot of it, I watched like at a friend's house, kind of out of obligation, and I think I wasn't in the right mindset. So I would like to give it another try. That and Blade of the Immortal. Anyway, another thing I got. Griffman, do the Titans Return Blitzwing thing. Hell yeah, hell yeah. If you're a Master Force nerd, you need to say he needs to power the vessel, not pilot it. Well, this is the Euro G. This is the Euro G1 version though. So you know who knows what these guys are doing, or even more confusingly, who knows what the 3 little guys that come with Machine Wars Soundwaves redeco are doing, right? Anyway, this is something that the reason why I have Studio Series Spike was to get $5 off of this Jada Toys Chun-Li. This is the first Jada Street Fighter figure I've gotten. I keep hearing they're really cool. They did not really distro to Canada for unknown reasons. It could have been anything. But at least so far. Like, I know Canadian stores are getting them now, and I hope I can pick up, like, Ryu and Fei Long. And I frigging want that Dalsim, because that looks frigging cool. But this figure, so on a Discord call recently, I was told this is considered the weakest of the 3 figures out so far. And I was like, what? Because apparently her neck joint is very small, and she doesn't have the butterfly shoulder stuff. And so I'm like, well, I guess, yeah, if they've got that on top of all the rest of this, because I was like, the hip joints are freaking amazing. Apparently everyone's got those. So these hip joints, right? You look at them, it's like, it's a V-crotch. What's it going to do? They feel great. They've got a lot of, like, motion everywhere, but they also look like hips the whole time. This is the part where I was like, wait, they look like hips. They look like human legs while they're doing this. And then this is the part, this is the test I did. I was like, let's go for gusto. So this is not going to be like synthetic human level, but I was like, can we do the spinning bird kick power up, the wind up? And frigging, yeah, you can. This is the wrong hands, but if you get like the open hands on, you can do the whole like I'm about to friggin' launch. So like for what this toy is, she can get close enough to a cross-legged position. And I'm like, what? What? Is it a trick of the light, or are her thighs girthier than her waist? No, yeah, she works out. She just works out. But yeah, you can do the whole, like, from there up to Waha, you know, the massive, like, gonna friggin', like, launch you for the big combo thing. This toy is friggin' cool! And if Fei Long, especially, that's the one I really want to mess with next, is like better than this, then like let's go. Also, the effect part. I gotta show off the effect part. This thing. This comes with a stand, by the way. Let me bust all this stuff out. Also, the thing I like about these Overstorm collectibles is that they don't have soft durometer plastic everywhere. Like, she's got a little bit. But I'm still really freaked out by how much, like, soft duro plastic is on Storm collectibles as, like, a soft goods substitute. I'm worried about it sweating off plasticizer. Oh, yeah, Picky Peeves. Ever since, I think, Street Fighter 3, they've kind of just more and more inflated her thigh size. I'm not an expert. I'm just a Street Fighter, like, casual for the most part. But you got this lightning kick effect. The best part is you can use any of these, so you can simulate all 3 major positions of Evo moment number whatever. And they all work. That's what I kind of liked, is like, it would have been easy enough to go, like, we design it so it slots in the middle, the other 2 don't really do anything, or they're kind of anemic, or they're filled on the end. But it's like, no, it actually really nicely slots into all 3 positions. And I think that's really cool. Let alone including a stand just to make sure you can, like, leave her like this. Another thing over some other 6-inch figures, right? Is after I shot the packaging's in the other room because I already filmed it. This whole line, they come in packaging that looks like an arcade machine, and it's freaking cool. But this is one of the nicest things I can say about a 6-inch figure. I put her down like this on my filming table afterwards, and she stood there for 2 days without falling over. If you have a lot of 6-inch figures, or even just a few, maybe I have different experiences from everyone, but a 6-inch figure that I can just put down, and then the figure stays standing for days, is amazing to me. Because a lot of figures I have, they get the droop, right? Or they get the sag, and then eventually at some point you just hear the thump, and it's like, oh, my Mythic Legion fell over. Oh, my Spider-Man fell over. she's not like a big booted design, like, you know, design that has like massive boots. It's like, okay, she's just like a normal person, somewhat slim one, at least aside from her legs, and stayed standing effortlessly. I was like, damn, Jada got something. I think this feels better than Marvel Legends. I think this feels on par with the 2 classified figures I have. I think this feels better than Star Wars Black Series Worst. And I think this feels a little bit better than Lightning Collection that I have. I don't know if Lightning Collection went downhill at all, because I only collected the first, like, year or two. Anyway, this is, like, one of the nicest feeling 6-inch figures I have messed with in a long time. And I'm no expert. I don't mess with tons of them, but I dip in now and then. TM review. Super 7 falls down as soon as you walk away from the review table. Sadness. Sadness. But yeah, they've done, the first wave is Ryu, Fei Long, and Chun-Li. Second wave, I think, adds Ken to that. And then there is Evil Ryu, Evil Ken, or Violent Ken. Player 2 colors of a couple of them. They've got M. Bison and Dhalsim coming out extremely soon, if not right now. Dhalsim comes with entire replacement frigging limbs! And then they've got a Vega that they've shown at a show, I think. I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of him in a box from, like, a Comic-Con or something. And I think it was Vega and Cammy? I think. Jada seemed to have Street Fighter 2 specifically. So, you know, depending on your taste, it's fully nostalgia figures to me. It's like Street Fighter 2 Super or whatever. I don't know if they're in a position to do, like, other games. I don't know if I'm going to get my friggin', what's it? I don't know if I'm going to get my Q or my 12. Wheeljack 64, Bison and Dhalsim are showing up at Target. Okay. Anyway, I was super impressed. She also comes with, like, an extra head and extra open hands. The extra head is excellent because they made the right decision. She's got normal face and then yelling face. I always have a fear that it's going to be like, oh, we'll do normal face and then, like, you know, wind pose face or something. Some face that is not demonstrably I'm fighting. I like having normal face and fight face as, like, a general rule of thumb for alternate faces on, like, Street Fighters, I guess. But yeah, Jada are kicking some ass with this stuff. Robot Lorekeeper, I'm pretty glad they did Fei Long so early, because I feel like new challengers who aren't Cammy get treated like afterthoughts. Not wrong. That's the vibe I get. I'll say I'll be like pleasantly surprised I'll be pleasantly surprised, not if, when T-Hawk happens. That's what I'll say. When T-Hawk happens. Chris Muse, what characters are out so far? We, Zero listed them on a little ways up, but it's, Ryu, Ken, Fei Long, Chun-Li, Dhalsim, and M. Bison are out so far. Along with some repaints. But yeah, I would love to see some Street Fighter 3 stuff, because Street Fighter 3 Third Strike on my Dreamcast was, like, one of the games I actually churned on for a while. So, like, those are lodged in my head. But Super Street Fighter 2 is also lodged in my head because I had a Super Famicom copy that just worked on my Super Nintendo. I don't know why or how, but I learned how to do all the 360 moves on a D-pad. That's why I got T-Hawk memories, because I learned how to do his funny throw, and that always made my friends get angry. Blue Desio Sean plus the beat-up face. Anyway. Another thing I got. Let's go to dealer room gains further forward. I got 2 figures from a dealer who gave me a deal on buying both. I got these 2 from the Troop Builder set. Because I still have to connect to pick it up off of Ultra Primal. But Kean Carlisle bought the Troop Builder set and only wanted the Auto Trooper and was literally like, I don't know what to do with these. I should just give them away. And I was like, I'll take them. And so they were passed along to Ultra Primal and will be passed along to me eventually. It's hard to line things up. But it was basically the 3 who aren't the Auto Trooper. And so I was like, well, these are the 2 I'd actually like to have 2 of, especially this guy, because I never got Skullgrin, and I think this guy looks boss in metal. And I love the Alicons, even though I still do not have the Alicon that came out in Earthrise, because I never saw one, because that year was funny. So I got these and their extra heads. And yeah, I like this this guy a lot. I can see how not having a giant Skullgrin head is making the experience a lot more efficient. But I like messing with him. I like his weapons. I didn't have the instructions, so I sort of guesstimated that, you know, I attached this thing in the right spot. But I will say I did not buy a second copy of the Seeker because I already got one. Do you get the joke? I'm making a nerd joke right now. I didn't get a second copy of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Troop Builder Seeker because I already had a second copy. The joke is this is Thundercracker, because at a glance that thing looks like Thundercracker. I know it's not him, but anyone who tells me at a glance they knew it wasn't Thundercracker is lying to me, bold-faced, and in a way that is sinful. Isn't that the Alicon? What? I can't... No, I do remember... Yes. Yes? I can't remember. But I will always accept Alicons. Anyway, so I got the 2 dupes from the Troop Builder set I really wanted to pick up, and they've got their spare heads. I really want 2 more of this guy because he has 2 different heads, right? But then each head has 2 removable horns. So you could have another one like this, but with white horns. That means I'd have 4 distinct G-Axis troopers, and I really like G-Axis. So I kind of want to try to track down 2 more of these. Ideally, people really eventually hate this and want to get rid of them as cheap as possible. Then I can easily get 2 more of these. Bonktacular, what's been your favorite modern G2 release so far? Probably G-Axis. He just makes me happy. Zero Liddell, fun fact, approximately 3% of the world's population holding a toy for Vangelis. A lot of them don't know it yet. But, yeah, like some folks, eventually someone's like, oh, it turns out that this Titan-class Nemesis, this actually belongs to you. And someone's going to be like, oh, this Titan-class Cybertron Metroplex from Legacy Wave 1. Oh, sorry, this actually belongs to you. And it's going to be like, no, hey, no worries. You know, I don't blame you. It's an easy mistake to make, but thank you. And then, you know, we'll continue on. The back of my neck is wet with liquid. I hate it. Somebody give me a towel. I'm gonna have a sip. Transcode Titan, does that mean my Nemesis belongs to you? Maybe. There's a 3% chance that it could be anyone's. We haven't quite figured it out yet who has mine, but we're working on it. I got top scientists. But yeah, the Legacy G-Axis, that head sculpt is just so picture perfect, and I love the figure, and I love transforming him. I got a review up for him on the channel. Says everything you need to know. So I'm going to try to turn this guy into his funny mode, because I did it once. I'm going to turn this exposure down. I thought this was going to be fine, but this is really blowing out this guy's head. It strikes me as slightly uggo, and I don't like it. What's the wrong way? There we go. I should not have this mic right next to my face when I'm yelling like that. Pardon me. Anyway, there we go. Now you can actually see his face a little bit. Everyone's got everyone's got Evangelist shipment. They just don't know it yet. Is this a euphemism for pooping? Who knows? Anyway, as I was saying, when I was messing with this guy, like, even just this part, I'm like, I can see how... I forgot how some of this works. There we go. I can see how it would be annoying to try to fit an entire Skullgrin head through that little chasm there. Part Part of the reason I'm transforming this guy is also just, I think there's a good chance I've been doing it wrong, because I just don't know how he works. So I was just kind of guessing and looking for where there are parts that unite. Yeah. Ugh. How did I do this last time? Was it like that? Couldn't have been like that. Oh, no, it was the other way around. Right, that's what it was. One of my favorite things to do with streaming is to just stumble into a transformer that I know everyone else knows how it works, to help teach the value and the virtue of patience and empathy. I actually haven't transformed this guy for like days, so I'm just kind of feeling my way through. But I know that I think Picky Peeves, was it you who mentioned this? I have absolutely come around. I'm part of the team. I'm like, yeah, this ain't the best toy in the world, but everyone's mean. Everyone's being mean for no good reason. Leave them alone. Dear world, leave them alone. I've joined the team. Am I going to actually, like, stand up for him on social media in a fight? No. But, you know, in private, I would take this design over to one side and go, like, you know what, you're doing your best, and I love watching it. What am I doing? I forgot what this part does. Mom! I'll do the other leg, and then I'll figure it out as I go. I wish Skullgrin got a core class. The two we got were so fun. Yeah, I kind of wish he was just like I like him having a giant-ass robot mode compared to the other two. That part I do really like. But also the Monster Pretender guys just being like goofy little like core class goons also would have been pretty fun. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. I did something catastrophically incorrect here. So just don't tell anybody. This is our little secret. This is our little secret, all right. Oh, never mind. 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 This part swivels. This part swivels. This part goes here. And then no, I forgot what I was doing. I'm just inventing a new fan mode. Can you break it for entertainment purposes? What year do we think this is? 2009? What are the... Ugh. This is weird, because I know I messed with this guy, like, on my couch. And I did this super fast, and I was like, pfuh, simple. But now I'm messing with him here and now in friggin' this year. And it took me until now to remember that that's how that part works. That those white planks go on the bottom. Shameful. I also filmed the entire Windblade video not remembering that I'm pretty sure... I didn't go back to check. I'm pretty sure someone on the stream when I opened her told me, hey, Windblade shoulder pads click up one. That disappeared from my memory 1000% until I got a comment really quick saying, like, hey, those shoulder pads in that video review of yours, those can click up one. And I went to go get her and clicked them up one, and had, like, this friggin' memento moment of it all rushing back that someone told me about it early on, and I just immediately forgot. Hello, Brian. Rachel Ghoul, I just finished YOLO Park Earthrise Optimus Prime Bumblebee model kit. Super interesting build, complex, as I don't build much model kits. Do you plan to pick it up? Is that YOLO Park Earthrise? Or do you mean Earth Mode? Is that the one that's like an actual kit, or is it like the ones I reviewed where you just stick... Is that like the G1 one? Or is it the one where you just put the limbs together? Because I reviewed 3 of them where you just put the limbs together for the most part. And one of them was the Optimus from Rise of the Beast. Oh, no, you mean the Bumblebee... Oh, wait, is that like the really complex one? Either way, the only really the YOLO Park things I'm really looking at are like the less expensive stuff. So the I heard the Megatron was really good, so it's kind of on my radar, but I'm not in a rush. I don't currently have enough income to grab like side dishes wantonly. I've still got to like I have to consider things too much, which is really annoying having to consider stuff. By the way, here's all these different ways you can plug these things in. Yeah, because the original YOLO Park thing was like an actual complex model kit, and then they retooled it into Shockwave. That one is like... That one is on my radar as something that would be fun to build someday, but that one I'm certainly not in a rush to, because I don't know where I would build it. I don't have much room in here, so... Complex, large model kits are kind of like... I like doing this, by the way. Are kind of a pipe dream for me, because I don't have room to comfortably like spread everything out and enjoy the process. Yeah, Face Forward's got the Shockwave. That thing looked intense. Anyway, I like this. I would like to have this little squadron of 4 of them at some point. We all know what Alicons do, right? Right? We all know. What was this? There's a story about the other head on this. Where is it? I got my bag of heads here. GB, I remember watching this guy 10 years ago. Glad he's still doing well. I mean, we've all been there on the journey with G2 Decepticon Clone, and I agree. It's been like a hard, long decade, but look at him. Look at him. He's a full real toy. You know, people are able to buy him on his own even. Oh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Rachel Gould. The complex model kit one is it's not currently on my radar, but it's on my long-term radar. I guess if I were to use some more words. Here's the other head, by the way, with the little white horns, so you can switch the horns around. These guys are just so cool. They feel like they were what this mold was designed for, with all the skulls on it already. Like, I know it's Skullgrin, but we got straight up like even more little skull dudes. Rayvarn, love your videos, man. Been watching a long time. First time catching a live. Welcome. Hope you're having a good time. Hey, if it's your first time catching a live, did you know all my lives turn into rewatchable VODs in the live tab on my channel afterwards? There's also VOD streams, live playlists that I collect everything in. And a lot of my live streams, eventually, all of them, I go back and add chapter markings to, so it's easier to go back and have a flip through them if you didn't see one. So, for the future, like... You want some idle entertainment to friggin' fall asleep to or whatever. There you go. Here's the other head. This is like a completely new head, right? Because the retail Alicon had like this head but different shapes. I remember that was like part of the paragraph I read about this guy, is like this head is different and more accurate. It might be a paint thing. I'm not sure. April Powered! I'm just going through these little troop builder folks I got at TFcon in the dealer room. Got these 2 for a deal from somebody. Wheeljack, you got the Lunar Cruiser Optimus. That's the NASA one, right? I messed with Toy Guys, and that thing posed really nice. I have seen the blocky kits. I was told to go look at them on AliExpress, and then, like, I got it in my head to, like, try to just get the Constructicons for cheap, but then I discovered while trying to do that, they only made 4 of them, and then I was like, I should probably just wait until, A, they finish my Constructicons, but B, I should also wait until I, like, have more idle cash to buy blockies. But they look really cool. Am I going to TFcon Baltimore? You scored your VIP ticks yesterday. Congrats. I'm probably not going to Baltimore because I went to LA. I'm up in Toronto. So I'm definitely going to be at TFcon Toronto because I don't have to fly. I just take a bus or a taxi or bum a ride from someone. Baltimore, I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to, like, fit the trip in. I am that somebody. Mayoral fabrication. Transcoded Titan, do you have any interest in getting the Autotrooper at some point? I do. In fact, funny story. After the animated deleted scenes panel, I was talking to a couple of folks. One of them was my buddy M Cypher, And I was telling him the story. He was like, "What'd you get?" And I was showing him these things because they were like on a piece of cardboard. And I was like, "Yeah, you know." And I told him basically like, I wanted to, you know, troop build these two. Don't need another Seeker because I got Thundercracker, and haha, that's the joke. And I was like, the Auto Trooper's so popular, I don't really want to overpay for one heavily. You know, like pay $40+. And it's, you know, I understand it. Like the Auto Trooper is just going to be more popular. So I kind of, for now, just kind of wrote him off. And then M Cypher's like, "Oh, I brought one to sell. Actually, nobody bought it. Do you want it?" So I bought I bought an Auto Trooper off of Cypher. So now I have, for sure, at least one copy of each of the 4 Troop Builder guys, so I can do a video on it without having to say, I just didn't get the Auto Trooper. I got the Auto Trooper. Eventually, I wouldn't mind getting a second one, but I'm not as attached to... I like this part. Like, this is how the head swaps work. I think that's really cool. But like I said, I only really want to get the Auto Trooper at a very certain max, and I didn't even think I was going to get one this year. So, grabbing this one, I was like, huh, that's nice. He's the Siege Ironhide. I like the Siege Ironhide a lot. I know I went on about it when thanks to Face Forward, I finally got a Siege Ironhide last year. Frigging finally. Yeah, the Inner Skull V-Rider. That's such a cool design. Rachel Ghoul, super old request. He tweeted at the time of release. Oh, man. Do I plan to review Make Toys Hypernova someday I'd like to, because now that thing is freaking expensive now. I need to figure out, like, I think I know where I put it, because I have a very small apartment full of very many things. But that's something I wouldn't mind going back to at some point. I just want to make sure it doesn't, with everything I do, one of my approaches now is I want all things I film to keep flowing. I don't want anything to hold me up. So I probably just gotta, like, film bits and pieces of it whenever I got spare time. So I can't really say, like, when I'd do it, but I'm not opposed to it, especially after TFcon LA discovering that thing is like a grail for some. Because I have that video up from when I put the reflective bits in, but I think that's about it. Blue DeSayo, I got the DCS version at TFcon LA and Toy Hacks did. Hell yeah. I think I got every version. I didn't get the DCS one. I got, like, Crosshairs and Ratchet, and then, like, years later got the Ironhide. Picky Peeves, I did the reveal and the story on how I ended up buying an Auto Trooper for roundabouts the same cost as these guys. Zero Lit Up, been itching to get Hypernova, but the price jump. Yeah, was it Toy Guy or someone else? There was so much happening. Like, mostly watching other people get good deals at TFcon, and having, like, a lot of fun watching that. Somebody got Hypernova. Was it Toy Guy? Somebody got it for a really good deal, loose. And I was impressed. Because I was impressed because while I was learning about the good deal they got, that's when I was also informed that Hypernova spiked in price. But yeah, Siege Crosshairs I really like. Brian, any artists on Bandcamp you like lately? I was just looking at Bandcamp. Dance with the Dead's always a go-to. I really like them, and they often put their whole discography on Bandcamp on sale for like $10 now and then. That's always the first one I'd name. I haven't done a Bandcamp tour in a while. Rachel Ghoul, you still have yours boxed up. Dang. Yeah, Hypernova was the Make Toys Nova Prime based on... long story. Based on their battle tanker, but also the one that I think debuted their original cab robot, which they then retooled into a pseudo Laser Prime for when they sold the whole package later and did the Shattered Glass one with the cape. No, the Nemesis one with the cape. Because the Shattered Glass one when they were doing the battle tanker push, Hypernova was like the prototype for it. TM Reviews, is this your first live since TFcon LA? I did a TFcon LA debrief live stream within a week of getting back. It is a couple streams ago. You'll find it on the live tab. But also, I can just answer any questions now. I'm not going to say, like, go watch it! But, if so, did you get to hang with Jobby or the other guys? I missed Sunday because of my flight. Oh, yeah, we all had a whole panel and a whole adventure. I shouldn't just tell the whole story again, because I recognize a lot of names in here, so I don't want to, like, waste everyone's time explaining the story again. But, like, we had a really fun panel. It's up on Jobby's channel. and then we had a whole story afterwards I told on the last stream, but there was a crowd crush situation that I checked with everyone, because in the moment I was kind of like in project manager mode, and according to everyone, I'm not wrong that I kind of assumed command voice to make the crowd not balloon in the middle of the lobby, and I got everyone to go outside. But it was a little intense during the panel. You can see if you look at my let's call it resting bitch face during the panel, which I feel really guilty about because I thought I was smiling the whole time. It's because part of my brain, about halfway through the panel, actively my cortex was going like, we need to figure out how we're going to get out of this room with this crowd cleanly and efficiently, because there are a lot of people here that want to come up and hang out with everyone, but also a whole lot of people really want to come up and say hello to Jobby, and that could become unsafe, so we got to figure out a safe way to do it that is still fun for everyone. That's kind of a thing I always try to value as part of the, not just the convention experience on the whole, but also for panels specifically. When you got to be a little bit like, drop the hammer, it's still got to try to be a little bit fun as much as possible. And that was a situation where I was kind of like, my brain was churning a little bit of like, we got to get out of this room. And then when we got out of the room, within about 20 seconds, it was like, oh, we can't be in here either, or the hotel will kick our ass. So it was kind of fun. But I mostly, with Jobby, I mostly hung out outside of the panel and outside of the impromptu meet and greet thing. We hung out a bit in the hour before the panel when he got in. Jobby was only at the show for a bit of Sunday and ended up not getting to see the dealer room because, things got kind of kooky Cocoa Puffs. But I hung out with a bunch of the other folks who were there all weekend. Sunday was kind of bonkers because I started with a panel of my own into preparing for our YouTube friend panel, and then we did that one, and then that ballooned on into another thing. Skipping Crosshairs. Oh, okay. The main reason I like Siege Crosshairs is because I like the mold, but also his colors are nice. But this is the Auto Trooper. That's the point I was making early on. He's got missile, and he's got the Kiss player head in here. I like that the Kiss player head's the alternate head because, especially if I'm like, oh man, I don't ever get another Auto Trooper. What am I gonna do? I can't troop build him. We'll just say he's the special one from Kiss players, and then hey, we're all good. Brian, want to recommend someone to you? Laser Punk. I'll try to remember that. Drop if you are able to. I'm not. It's fine if you don't remember, but if you could drop that as a comment on the VOD, that will be easier for me to remember. Just planning around my own memory holes. Anyway, this is the troop builders that I got. If you want to see the whole troop builder 4-pack, then hey, guess what? Surprise! Here you go. It's the troop builder 4-pack. For those who did not catch it the first time, I know, yeah, I know, but isn't this the funny haha joke of the Seeker from the troop builder 4-pack? Isn't that the funny haha joke? Look, it's all 4 of them. April, I hope you're able to get it inexpensive Crosshairs down the road. I was just so assuming that by now you would have been able to, or that anyone would have been able to catch a cheap Crosshairs, but also Siege kind of vanished after a while. I keep having to remember Siege was also 5 or 6 years ago. That's messed up to think about. Screwed up, unethical. Yeah, Sideswipe Prime, it is a particular, it is a specifically different Pantone of blue, and some of the finer details are also different. It is not Thundercracker. However, it is absolutely Thundercracker if you glance at it and then don't think again and move on. That's why semi-joking, when people are like, I always knew that wasn't, I never thought that was Thundercracker, I'm just like, you're a liar. You looking me in the eye and you're lying like this about something that's not important, and you lie to me like this? But yeah, it's referencing a very specific Pantone, is my understanding. It's just funny they picked the one who looks exactly like Thundercracker. Alan Weaver, speaking of Gnaw, I saw the new wave of Studio Series dudes at Target. Congrats. Oh yeah, the Sunstreaker wave. The someone at the warehouse just went like, nah, ship 'em wave. Robot Lorekeeper, I got him as Siege was on its way out, because that's when I started collecting Generations. I think he was discounted a bit, and then I just never saw him again. That's what I feel like happened to a lot of Siege, is it was like, it was there on sale in a way that was like, perpetual, and then it was gone. And it's like, okay, you got me. Griffman, it's a shame you can't get Squishy Bell's Crosshairs upgrade kit anymore. It's so good. Oh, yeah. So many, like, cool little upgrade kits I also, like, took for granted, and then they just ceased to exist after a while. Let me move these goofballs out of the way. So we got a little bit more haulage to talk about. Sam Wellbell, hello. So, this is the last thing I got at TFcon LA. I bought him because he was $10, and that gave me $5 off of Chun-Li because it was the same dealer. I'd been saving him for this very moment. Spike Witwicky's moment finally came. Also, right before TFcon, I got Tasmania Kid, and I didn't open him because I was like, well, I'll save him because I'm about to go on a trip. So he's just kind of been rolled into this whole thing. I've talked about this for literally weeks on multiple streams about how he's going to be happening on part of the TF. This guy has been patiently waiting in his box for like a month. So let's you know, pour one out for the Tasmania Kid because he's also going second. We're going to be doing Spike first. Let me take a sip. By the way, I think I'm seeing some first-time names in our text chat here with the viewership. So if I'm correct and I'm not wrong, then welcome and thanks for checking things out. I've been streaming a lot more lately, and I'm planning to do more of it in general because it makes my brain happy. So the more of you who like to hang out here, then hey, we got more fun voices. Adufonza, come to Tasmania. That's really far from me. Anyway, go Andy Robo. What's going on? How you doing? Keeping well? I don't know why I'm just looking at the camera talking like a mother, but you eating? Yeah. You want some soup? I'm gonna open this guy up. I found out when I was testing something on Discord, I didn't know this. He comes with effect parts. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh. Anyway. Ah! We're opening this the biblical way. Soon I'm not going to be able to do that because they're putting Windows back in, right? Sadness. Rexodus, hello. The TF Reviewer. Can I use the Welcome Internet Personality TF Reviewer for my intro? Sure. Did I say that on here? Or are we talking about something else? Either way, whatever. Go for it. Have fun. Prosper, in fact. Rachel Ghoul, I've been following for years, just been lurking and enjoying the content. Hope you can visit the UK TF Nation or if I end up coming to a convention in Canada. Oh, well, thank you very much for hanging out so long, even if we're conversing for the first time. I would like to make it out to the UK sometime, because I've been to the UK before, just never when a convention's happening. Always happens. By the way, I should also say, for everyone who's here for the first or second time, all of my live streams become VODs, reviewable archive videos afterwards, automatically. There is a live tab in my YouTube channel. It's very easy to miss. So there's also a playlist called V-Streams, VOD Streams, Vibe Streams, whatever live, that is near the top of my playlists list on the main channel that lists the newest ones first of all of the live streams I do and remember to tag. So if you feel like digging back in, a lot of them from a certain point onwards even have chapter markings, and I'm trying to make sure all of them from a certain point onwards have chapter markings. So hopefully that makes it easier to dig through them, and also if you find one without chapter markings, call out a few chapter markings in a comment and I'll add them. Anyway, I gotta get a knife. Oh wait, no, I don't need a knife, I've got these. I was about to say I put my clippers back in the other room so they'd stop floating around here. But I got these clippers. Alright, so I actually don't... I have not... This is a weird thing to say about this toy. I have not looked at any coverage of Exosuit Spike. So I'm going into this real fresh. I'm not going to look at the instructions. I'm just going to guesstimate my way through this, and we'll see what happens. His arms are real weird. Are they just kind of like this? They're just kind of like this. Okay. Oh, wait. No. Here we go. Yeah, it looks a little bit more like he's standing. Actually, that's a better stance than I thought he was capable. I thought he was kind of stuck with this, like, goofy pile driver arm position. This actually looks like a human being is inside now. This actually has a little bit of swagger. Let me get out a contemporary for him to hang out with. Hang on. Not on par, but you know, exosuit generations going on here. Rachel Ghoul, curious if you'll do a room tour of your figures and setup. Well, one of my... So, that has a long answer, is what I'll say, while I mess with this guy. So I live in a very small apartment in Toronto, downtown. So, also, I am stricken with years of not stacked, but years of pulsating depression clutter. And also, I collect physical objects. So it all comes together to basically mean that I don't even really have a lot of figures on display so much as I have them in stackable containers because that makes my brain happy. However, one of my goals this month is I really want to make my living space two things. I want to make it more conducive to creativity and also more conducive to rest. It's not conducive to either of those things right now, and that's bothering me. So hopefully things work out the way I hope they do, and I can make things feel just a little bit nicer in here, and then maybe I'll do a little tour, but I'm not a displayer person, so I don't know if it would be satisfying the same way as, like, folks who have, like, a Transformers room, you know? But also, as far as, like, showing my setup for video making, I mentioned a little bit earlier in the stream, but it was, like, pretty early on. This month, I'm hoping to do a series of production streams where, starting from scratch, I show the process of writing, recording the audio, filming, editing, doing little reshoots if I need to. Basically making a video from start to finish while streaming it to create a little bit of, like, a nice, chill co-working atmosphere, but also to show, like, you know, how I do things. Rotate Spike's head. I refuse. What? What? It's not... It's not... Oh! Okay. Well, that's cool. There's a little thing back here to make him look left and right. I didn't notice that. I was just like, what's going on? Am I being bullied? One more. Oh, that's neat. When he said look around, I was like, have I been deploying, like, some kind of friggin' extending, like, effect part out of his butt or something this whole time? Oh, you're in London. Dang. Well, thanks for checking out the stream. Have a good night, Rachel Ghoul. Love your work with the League of Assassins. And yeah, I was just like, am I getting picked on? This is... What's going on? Keep turning his head. Keep turning it. Wait, does he... Wait a second. Does he... Do y'all see that he has, like, a hole in the back of his head displaying that he literally has no brain? Like, it's scooped out. It's screwed up. That explains so much. True. Double jointed knee, perhaps? Maybe? Maybe? Is that a double jointed knee? Oh! Oh! It's a highly ineffectual double jointed knee, but it's there. April. It would have been great if they actually, like, shot just a little bit of red paint in there just to be really messed up. Okay, what is it? I'm gonna look at the one picture. What is my goal? Alright, my goal is a little nub. Okay. The effect parts. Oh, those do look nice. Some real rocket boosted punch material. I mean, what? Yeah, Chris Muse. It means they scooped it out, then they cleaned and rinsed and washed the inside, polished it, then went like, "Go on your way, human friend Spike." Alright, that would mess up my arm. Yeah, big O arms. Hope I'm doing this the right way, because I just assume he leans down. But I don't have a gun! Use your exosuit! Hurry! Sorry, Dad, I killed you. Oh. Brain rot. I don't like that I can just, like, start going off a scene plus Foley in my head like that. That's messed up. Oh, that's why those bend that way. And these tab together. Low key, have I already done it? Is that it? Question mark. I feel slightly deceived by the angle on the box. They make it look like there's something going on in here, and there's nothing. There's nothing going on in there. Yeah, I watched the Transformers the movie like way too many times while in elementary school, so I completely like coded it to my brain, and it's weird. It's weird watching it with other people too, because like I don't think I could enjoy it the same way. Yeah, nothing going on in there, much like his head. That's correct, Sideswipe Prime. What his feet are doing is so weird, because they're cut for the A stance, but then they go together the other way around. It just looks friggin' weird. Oh, Wheeljack, you got the Nemesis Bridge set. The paint is gorgeous in person. Hell yeah. Yeah, in high school, I was able to recite the 86 movie, which no one ever wanted to hear, so I never really did it. But there's something going on here I like. I just wish that there wasn't a big, like, empty space, you know, here at the ass. I wish he wasn't big and ass empty. I do like he can kind of look left and right at the floor while he's in there. He looks like he's Naruto running. He broke 3 joints in each arm so he could full send Naruto run. With wheels. Broomba. Yeah, I guess what I would say is, unless this is a line art thing, it's a weird thing to say. I feel like different decisions could have been made with the legs. I would have rather they curled up into this space so he'd be like a little nub. As it is, it's not feeling as cool to me as I thought it was going to. I don't know what I thought this was going to be, but I like some of what was going on. The hand feel, though, I will say, is way better than I expected. Maybe because I'm just used to the Daniel that came with Grimlock. If you're talking toys, you can quote me on this. I wish he wasn't big and ass empty. I remember in high school, because this was very, like, this was pre-07 movies, but this is also kind of pre the existence of fandom as we know it. What? Oh, wait, rotate this part. And then, okay. There's two rotators here, and it's messing me up sometimes. But it was pre, fandom as we know it, pre the live-action movies. And so, for Transformers in high school, it was just me for the most part, and every now and then someone who vaguely remembered it found out I had a VHS copy and went like, can I borrow that? And I'd lend them a VHS of the 86 movie for a week and then get it back, and they would be like, they wouldn't say anything, they'd just be like, hey, thanks, man. Hey, thanks, man. It was like I'd given them something that was life-affirming. It was really funny. The Daniel that came with MP Bumblebee did way better than that one. Yeah, I'm just... Oh, no, fake fan. Daniel came with Slug. You're right. You're right. 50 lashes. They're the same toy. Someday I gotta video those things because Swoop is about to come out. That's gonna be fun to do, like, this many years later. I've had many years to ruminate upon the pack-in Daniel and Wheelie. Just throw them out the window. Please don't make that moan again. What moan? That was just an exhalation. This guy's okay. I think Tasmania Kid's gonna be more fun. I'm just gonna guess. I'm happy I got this guy because he gave me $10 off Chun-Li, and now I no longer have to wonder when I see 5 to 30 of them in a Walmart, because this is one of the ones that you always see right now, or at least the last time I went to a Walmart. Yeah, the idle stance on him, like this pose, I didn't think he was capable of. So this is actually a really pleasant surprise that there's like this level of subtlety to the articulation setup. Just how much he looks like there's actually a person in here controlling the suit. Alan Weaver, I guarantee you Tasmania Kid is more fun. What's up, Chris Carnage? How dare you, they're both fun. We'll see. Let's get Tasmania Kid open. Green packaging style. Yeah, Robot Lorekeeper, me too. I thought they were just going to be like pile driver arms goofiness. Oh, Chris, I'm doing okay. I got a little bit of co-working done today. Got some progress made on a panel from 2019. Because panel videos already do terribly. So, I'm just going to put out old ones too, because whatever. It's a known factor that the panel videos generally go unseen by the wider audience. So, specifically for Why Do We Enjoy the Toy, I just want to make sure that they are all up there for the sake of the playlist, so I can send someone that playlist and go like, this is the weird thing I just started doing in 2017. I can't get access to this twist tie. We're just gonna have to... Oh no, there we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Let's assess. What's the hand feel on this little guy? I already like this part because I was like, oh, palms up, huh? Ball socket joint. Oh, that's nice. I mean, I already know a little bit about this guy because like so many people got him, talked about him. I think even Aaron and TJ got him and talked about him. I am a big fan of how he is just like, we took the flip changer and just made it a normal toy. And like that's kind of what this guy is for the most part. Be nice to my fellow Australian. Picky Peeves, you're stressed at the ankle ball joint. Now they keep falling off. Dang. Just taking a look. They seem okay. This kind of ball joint, though, I think I can fix. I really am trying to not, like, do the whole, like, let me talk about what I got coming up, because I think, I heard someone once say this, and I agree with this. When you tell people what you're gonna do, and they say, dang, that's cool, you're receiving a majority of the serotonin you were gonna receive for having done it already before you've even done it, and I think that messes with, like, motivation. But I am also planning to update the floor polish video, because floor polish is too complicated a topic now. There's too many billions of floor polishes. They keep changing it. Pledge doesn't exist anymore, blah, blah, blah. I also found a better solution, which is varnish. Paint on, not fingernail varnish, but paint on hobby varnish, like Vallejo or Army Painter. Gloss varnish, specifically, I know works, but I'm going to be testing a bunch of varnishes, because varnish you can get in a dropper bottle like this for like $3 to $5, and you use that with a paintbrush. It is chemically sound to use on plastic. It doesn't bond with the plastic at all. It's water soluble, and it works. It works. April, he can do a handstand. Oh yeah, he can. So I am assuming that I just put this little... Wait, where do I put this? Under an arm? Because those are 3mm. And that looks 5mm. Is he cool like this? Does he just have like a gun arm? PT, is it polyurethane? I have some of the polyurethane ones that Vallejo started putting out because I want to know what those do. But I have a matte varnish, gloss varnish, polyurethane ultra matte, polyurethane gloss, and one other one. I forgot. Oh, I think a semi-gloss one. I'm going to try them all out on some ball socket joints just to see if there's any differences. It would be cool if the matte ones could work so that you're not tied to having a high gloss finish on something you've tightened. There's a sword mode? Oh. I mean... Would you like an ice cream? Oh, yeah, that's probably not intended, I'm guessing. Robot Lorekeeper, did anyone ever see the guy who voiced Bakugo in My Hero Academia say producing an official Beast Wars 2 English dub is like his secret pipe dream? That's really cool. He's gonna tickle ya. Churro seller. Can I just leave this plugged in here? It seems fine. It's a little low, but I think you could just leave that in there too. Yeah, Go Andy Robo. I forgot if we talked about this at TFcon, but like one of the reasons, there are myriad reasons why I want to have a video up to direct people away from trying to find floor polish. One of them is, we all have, like, some of us have 10-year-old bottles of floor polish, and it's turning, like, just weird-ass, muddy, gross colors. And someone once told me, and I took them at their word, because this sounded reasonable, to consider that floor polish was never designed to be used in sparing droplets over the course of a decade, and that it might be, like, eating through parts of its own plastic bottle as the years go on. And I was like, you're probably right. I sort of doubt floor polish was ever meant to live this long. So, like, another reason to consider, you know, varnishes, top coat stuff that you can brush on, is like it's a small little bottle, and it's kind of meant to just live in that bottle for at least a little while. Also, I don't know why, because now that I'm using a paintbrush to do it, I was saying this on Discord earlier. I don't know why I ever got so hung up on every method under the sun except a paintbrush. I think because I spent a good long time thinking paintbrushes were expensive. So why would you want to damage a paintbrush using it with this floor polish stuff? And then I discovered many years later how you can get super cheap brushes in like giant bags. And I'm just like, why did I get so hung up on the frigging using Q-tips, credit cards, etc.? You could just use a paintbrush. Rexodus, Uncle Jesse on YouTube did a big video on this, including ideas I hadn't heard of, like aluminum tape. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sideswipe Prime used Army Painter gloss varnish on your Bring Arts Neku. Sorry, I'm also just idly flicking the toy left and right, because I was like, I'm going to transform him, and then started responding and reading viewer stuff. We're just doing a classic yoga pose here. It's a good way to start your morning. Actually, this is really like friggin'... It is just arms for legs, legs for arms, isn't it? But it's kind of cool how this is working. Carnage, did you get a beachcomber? No. They never hit shelves in Canada, I think. That wave almost didn't come out in Canada, that deluxe wave. I think they might have hit in some GameStops, but I don't think we got very wide distro on Beach Cucumber. Oh no, it's oh yeah, legs. Yeah, you're right. Legs for spine, feet for head. I'm realizing that, yeah, these things up here. Is there a vibrant black market for pledge these days? If you got clear pledge that hasn't started turning murky and weird, possibly, but hopefully not, because hopefully instead there will just be a market for hobby grade varnish that exists and is easier to get. I think we've given enough business to Big Pledge. This whole time I was trying to get his head to like be up in here, but I think it's just supposed to be down here. Because it looks like this is supposed to line up, right? Well, I'm saying right, but like half of you already own this figure, so you're probably just going like, no! What are you doing to him? Absolute monster. And I looked back and I said, yes, I am. Actually, why is this not going up in there? Does this not tab into it? Yeah, there's like a little divot. I guess it doesn't tab in though. It just holds in. Oh no, it's holding in. There we go. Is the varnish airbrushable like Pledge? Yes. Hobby grade varnish is water soluble, thinner soluble. It's fully airbrushable. It's not enamel based. It's not entirely like acrylic paint. Although some matte varnishes are just acrylic paint with no pigment. But then some of the new ones are different and slightly nicer. Oh, these are kind of awkward. Oh wait, does this tab in? Oh, it does! There's little tabs in there that go into the kneecaps. I like that. Chris Muse, this is a common issue. I'm guessing the head thing? Yeah, it's a little janky. It doesn't click in. It just kind of like wedges. We have pledged enough of our dollars to future. Oh, geez, Rexodus is going to check the Extra Life. Yeah, also, for all the new folks, whenever I do gaming streaming, and also on Games Day, you know, the Games Day, I do a lot of Extra Life streaming stuff. And so every Thursday right now, I'm trying to play some Elden Ring, or catch up on Extra Life milestones. And folks like Rexodus and Face Forward have friggin' swung in full chest and catapulted my Extra Life charity raise total to like 600 plus, and it's just now April, and I can't believe it. That is highly generous of them. Lorca and Nagel Vallejo and AK's matte varnishes are great. Oh yeah, their matte varnishes are specifically, yeah, that stuff is pretty good. There's another one that I got that was really good. I can't remember what it was called now. I just remember the color of the bottle. But matte varnishes, I want to mess with the polyurethane one that Vallejo does, because matte varnishes are not as durable. The thing about the gloss varnish for joint tightening is that when it cures as a fairly like durable skin over whatever you paint it on, which is why I think it's a perfect solution for tightening stuff. And I have now used it to tighten some tabs a few times. But yeah, we've got the Tasmania Kid here. He's looking pretty svelte. Brain keeps trying to escape his head, but other than that... Ugh. I think this turned out better than Rat Trap from Kingdom, is how I'm feeling. Not that I thought Rat Trap from Kingdom was bad, but I just, I think this actually feels a little bit more fully realized. Well, Elden Ring is also because I want to be ready for the DLC, and I've got my local area Elden Ring coach and psychiatrist, who's usually able to join the call for a bit. You know, get me my training in as an e-athlete. But yeah, I don't dislike Kingdom Rat Trap, but I didn't love him. I liked him, but I didn't like super love him. I think I liked him, but also it was partly because I really don't like Kingdom Core Optimus. I think he's fine, but I really didn't like how he turned out. This little guy though is just like, the only thing is this like funny tolerance stuff going on, fitment stuff. It's fitment more than tolerance stuff going on up here with the skull cap. But otherwise, like, this little guy is so freaking cool. Welcome back, Griffman. Yeah, Rexodus. I do always have on hand when I'm gaming my gamer headband, because when I'm gaming, I'm an athlete. So this is how you know that I'm like taking it seriously. Sorry, that was whew. I was already getting into the mode, you know, getting ready to head on out there and crack some heads open in the lands between. I need a sip. Okay, so that about covers the haul. Let me get some of this mush out of the way. I don't have anywhere to put this. I didn't bring a bag. I said I didn't bring a bag. Uh-oh. I fixed it. You also got lucky. My Tasmanian Kid doesn't have anywhere near that flush a skull cap fit. Oh, hell yeah. Ugh. We're just winning it all left and right. Yeah. I'm an athlete. Put this over here. Let's see. I'm going to go just check something. Hi. Yeah. Because I was showing some photos from TFcon, but, like, whatever I grabbed out of Dropbox, it left a bunch of photos behind. So I know there were a few I didn't actually get to show y'all. I just want to see if I can quickly find them. I don't think I can. I might need to just give up the ghost on this. Yeah, they're all still buried. Dang. It's just a handful of photos. There was a really cool tarn mask that someone had, and I took a photo with it, and that thing was super neat. There were a few more dealer room photos. It was mostly just like there were GoBots, and it was some more shots of the knockoffs. So it wasn't anything like super critical. Most of the photos I wanted to look at were in the last stream. Transcoded Titan, I think it might have been one of the ones that you were in. I showed a bunch of the group photos that people were posting on social medias. So that one with the group that you took might be in there too. So yeah, my first question is, does anyone have any other questions about TFcon LA 2024? Just while that's on topic and in my head. I know we did do that other stream, but is there anything else like lingering, or anything people didn't catch in the last stream? Oh, April, friggin', I want to see Robot Masters Universe Bound Rogue printed on a piece of official Transformers packaging. That alone would make me super, super hype. I just want to see them print the words Robot Masters Universe, because they will now, right? I think that'd be very funny. Because also, in addition to any other TFcon LA stuff, April says, did you have a good time at TFcon LA? I had a great time. I really had a lot of fun. It was like 3 extremely different days with a very funny Thursday on the front. With my bullet hole in the window of my hotel room. Different hotel. I was at a different hotel on the Thursday that was like 20 minutes away, and there was I can actually pull that photo up, I think, because that's on my local drive now. So for those who did not see, let me go get the other window open. The first thing LA truly greeted me with was I went to open the window of my hotel, and now this was only through the outer window. The inner window was fine. There, it's 2 layers of windows. But yeah, there was plainly an attempt to shoot through the window where I was staying, and I was like, America. Also, I left the blinds closed at night. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is just where people get mad, and maybe this is just the anger window. When people see it, they're like, friggin' window! Hurling their, rocks and bullets at it with their bare hands. But I thought this was pretty funny. Did I eat at Del Taco? I did not. When I was eating throughout the day, I was mostly just... I'm really bad at remembering to eat in the first place, so thank goodness for that toy guy. Because he was only able to eat at certain places, and around about the middle of the day, he would just say, like, I'm going to go get my thing. Do you want to come along? And I'd be like, yes! And I'd just go get, like, some fast food. But unfortunately, I did not hit the Del Taco. I did hit the Jack in the Box that you can see in this photo in the background. I went down there and I got an ultimate cheeseburger, which is to say the final cheeseburger, and some mozzarella sticks. Yeah, that's not a Wendy's or a Taco Bell. That is a Jack in the Box. Where, as I said, I got an ultimate cheeseburger. The final one. It was the final one. It was, like, really mid, but it was fine. We don't have Jack in the Box up here, as far as I know, so I was like, well, this is ethnic. To the Americans. I know there was a Fat Burger in the area, but I wanted to go not very far from this hotel to just get, like, some Coke and some fast food so I could watch the new Bravern episode and then go to sleep. What dip did I have with the matzo sticks? Marinara. They didn't offer me any other ones. Tygon Pantera, hello. I've already had better cheeseburgers back here in Toronto. But Toronto is a burger town, among other things. So, like, Toronto has made me into a burger snob, but I know how to turn it down when it's unnecessary. I think I saw before, how does throwing bullets work? Well, some people put them in, like, a bullet throwing device called a hand pistol, which is sort of cheating. Adam, assuming I make it to next TFcon, there's a Fab Iberia place I always hit. I did get to go to some good places. Like, I got a couple local friends in the area who I meet up with now every time I go, like, 2 years in a row. And they took me to the place. Whenever I say it, you all say the name because I forget every time. The place with the diner with the good chicken and waffles. Chester Yeehaw Hoo-Haw's famous chicken and waffles. Roscoe's. Yeah, Roscoe's. Chester's kooky cocoa puffs hoo hoo ha he hoo chicken and yeehaw waffles. And you wonder why there's a bullet hole in my hotel room window. Rexus, was there any TFTCG at the con? There was. Zero was doing some stuff throughout Saturday, and was only able to be around for the one day. Zero, if you're still in the chat, I'm not sure. But I helped teach a game, and also we played a little bit of deck builder in the evening. So it as with many things, it persists. There was even someone played a 4-hour session of the Renegades system. What's it called? Essence D20, the RPG. There was some group that played a 4-hour session of the RPG on Sunday night. So we had full representation of all official analog transform. Well, not all official. All official from 2018 onwards. Transformers analog gaming that was available. How do you all know what Roscoe's? Okay, actually, no, I know because like 2 of you are in the area, right? So I guess. Yeah, well, it wasn't like the RPG like Renegade was not there, but I just know that there were folks playing the RPG at some point. Yeah, so that's my prime. I wasn't gonna fully identify and say it, but yeah. Why do all these locals know the place I'm talking about? Friggin' messed up. Friggin' tryhards. Friggin' LA nerds. Knowing where all the LA stuff is. Oh, it's pretty well. Oh, there was a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles joke in the first Rush Hour? Really? Dang. Oh, Bonktacular, how do you play a deck building game? Yeah, so a deck building game. So I'm gonna lay out some jargon. So there are deck construction games. That's like, for instance, the Transformers TCG or Magic the Gathering. A deck construction game is where you collect cards or you buy cards if it's something that doesn't have blind packs, and you construct a deck that you use to then play the game. A deck building game is a type of board game where everyone starts with a sort of generalized basic starter deck, usually around 10 cards. In the Transformers deck building game, it is 10 cards. And in a deck building game, part of the gameplay backbone is that you acquire new cards for your deck, and you also destroy cards out of your deck. So you start with like a basic deck, you're trying to add better cards to it, and eventually, in most cases, you're trying to strip those starter cards out of the deck. So eventually you have, in a perfect scenario, a lean deck of incredibly good cards that you are playing over and over and over again. So the way the Transformers deck building game makes things really interesting to me is you play as a character who is on a board, and the board is the card market of cards that you're interacting with as a matrix grid that you traverse as a map. I think it is a super fun game. It is sold in a very confusing way up until the release of the War on Cybertron set. So basically, the one problem with the game up until the War on Cybertron standalone expansion is that it's a very good game that had been parted out into 4 boxes of 2 different sizes. 2 of those boxes were referred to as core sets, but the first one did not offer the entire game experience. The second one offered 75% of the game experience, and the 2 smaller expansions, they weren't necessary, but when you put all of them together, you have a really cool game system whose documentation has to keep writing it as though any one of these boxes could be the only one you have. So it's a very cool game that really is screaming to have a master manual. basically. But I really like it. It is one of my favorite deck building games, partly because it's Transformers, but also because it represents Transformers, I think, really well, in that you are choosing a Transformer to play as, you have 2 modes, and you're wandering the board doing stuff. That's where I like it more than the G.I. Joe deck building game. And yeah, the original core set is also getting reprinted with an updated rulebook, and every instance of the verb transform switched to convert, and the really cool purple-themed cover that I really like is getting redone to have the stupid white stripe on the side for stupid branding, stupid purposes. Stupid. I hate it. Yeah, Zero, I have the G.I. Joe deck builder and everything for it up to the Transformers expansion, so I don't have the USS flag. I decided that I haven't played it enough to, like, I haven't played into the expansions enough to want to own the flag expansion. It's not a bad game, it's just like, in the G.I. Joe deck building game, you don't play as a character. And the thing that made me a bit tetchy about a lot of review coverage was a lot of people saying, the G.I. Joe game is so much more thematic, and what they were often saying was, the G.I. Joe game has missions you go on. Which is fine, it's thematic, but the Transformers one you play as a character. The G.I. Joe one, you pick a character who can be upgraded that is in your deck at the start of the game, and that's it. You don't play as them, you have to draw into them. Oh, you got playtester. Oh yeah, you had some of the cool foils, I remember, when we were playing Deck Builder. We had a pretty fun Deck Builder game at the end of Saturday at TFcon. It was a, how many people were there? Was it 5 of us? Or 6 of us? We were just doing like a free-for-all, and it was pretty goofy fun. I messed with Zero real bad. Zero was running things, you know, as someone who knows how the game works, and was really set up to like swoop in and do a really cool thing. And then I realized, because it was the first time I was playing proper player versus player with that game, because it also plays solo and co-op really well. Player versus player is so fun because it's all about just kind of being like a friggin' nuisance. And so like you try to like flip over cards under other people's characters to see if they get ambushed. Or in the case of what I did to poor Zero, he's running Perceptor, who has like plus range on all of his stuff, and it can do things from afar, whatever. So I go like, I'm gonna flip over the card that's under your Perceptor. And so basically, I frigging deployed an undersea base under Zero and yanked him to the bottom of the ocean, where I functionally erased his final turn because he had no movement points in his cards. He was set up to use tons of power from a distance, with Perceptor's sniper powers and whatnot, and so I yeeted him to the bottom of the ocean. And he had no movement in his hand and would require, like, what was it, like 3 movement to get out of that square? So I basically functionally nullified Perceptor's final turn. It was very funny, because there's no way I did that on purpose. That was blind luck, but it was very funny. And I was like, this is the kind of motions I'm looking for here. Because also the ocean base card read really funny. I remember, Zero, you were saying, like, the first half of the card is all the boons you're getting from being in an undersea base. You're protected, you're like invincible, no one can hurt you. And then it's like, read the second paragraph, and it's like, you also can't do anything because you're at the bottom of the ocean. I will say, I have some from 2 Extra Life years ago, I think, some solo gameplay of the deck building game just on my tabletop here. I messed up the rules and made the game about 5 times harder for myself in doing so. So I'm thinking of doing some more. There's actually an Extra Life tabletop day coming up, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have time that day. Sometime, though, I'm going to do some more solo deck building game on my desktop here, because I really want to work Ruins in, because I think that they are another missing ingredient from the original version of the game. They add quite a bit, in my opinion. And also, there are combiner characters, and the way combiners work in the deck building game is fascinating. It's very cool, because instead of having alt modes, you just have a combiner character card who transforms from the team to the combiner. But when you're the combiner, you hemorrhage energon every turn, which is a resource that is not easy to get. And the way that your individual members are represented is in that little starter deck. One of the cards, the card you have the most copies of, is like 6 copies of this one card. It's a very basic card. that card gets replaced with 6 different tweaked versions of it, one for each member of the team. Or, 5, I guess, in the case of the Scramble City guys. I can't quite remember. Yeah, it's a really cool game if you own everything for it. And that's, like, the big caveat. That is, like, the sort of make or break caveat. Although the War on Cybertron box set is they made a core set that does give you a little bit of everything, which was absolutely necessary, because the original 2 core sets, in my opinion, did not really work as a standalone experience that would last more than about, like, 5 or 6 games without feeling like, oh, it's just a licensed game. There's, like, a way fuller game engine in there. It's actually a bit of a complex game engine. It's very card play timing oriented in a way that you might not anticipate, but it's so fun. I really like it. Yeah, V-Rider, I was thinking, like, this is such a friggin' anime thing to do. It's like, I consign you to the bottom of the ocean, where you will live forever in safety and isolation. Friggin' Dweller of the Depths stuff. Okay, Scorp. Scramble teams have 5 + 1 unmodified courage. Well, courage/wrath/bold card. Oh, the Combiner expansion, by the way. Hang on. Let me show you this. Huh. Ugh. Hi. Let's go to the desktop for a second. The Combiner expansion also has original Naoto Tsushima artwork on the front, which is why I'm using the Combiners box as my spare parts box, because they got freaking Naoto Tsushima to do an original art spread of 6 Combiners having a friggin' throwdown. And, it's just, like, the weirdest low-key flex ever. And, yeah, it's also gorgeous, in my opinion. And yeah, these are the 6 Combiners in the expansion. Defensor is a 7th one, who's the bonus pack for this that you have to get from Renegade. And Devastator came in an earlier expansion, so there are 4 Combiners for each side, which is also pretty damn cool. But yeah, the only bummer about Victorion is she is a denial character, so she's almost exclusively designed for PvP, so running Victorion in solo or co-op is kind of... It's not impossible, but it's like you're playing in hard mode for no reason, really. Oh no, Chris Muse, this is the Renegade deck building board game. This is the most recent expansion they put out. Here, let me show you how I organized the board game. Yeah, Victorion is a blue player. So this is the other best piece of artwork, which is the original core box's cover. So this is getting, in the reprint, this is getting replaced to have a big white strip on the side that says Transformers. Uggo. Ugly Uggo stuff. It's being redone to be in this style. I hate the white stripe styling, and I'm happy for anything to deviate from. I hate branding styling. It's such a limiter when these things could be prettier. Oh, the Combiner Wars are basically evergreen, because Combiner Wars only has its own standalone fiction in my own head. Nah. But you can... Oh, wait, I'm in Facecam. I thought I was in desktop. Where'd desktop go? What's going on? Hang on. Stream pre-show? Facecam. Desktop. There we go. I don't know why it switched away. Yeah, Bonktacular. Solo and co-op basically work the same. You're trying to just beat the 3 bosses before you take 5 damage at any given time. Or have 5 damage in your control at any given time. I bumped something when I stood up. Damn it. It's a conspiracy! They set me up! So here's the FAQ. I just printed off a little booklet version, so I got it in here. Because there's a couple of erratas, not really... Not anything that is not easy to just, like, reference. But, how can I make this clearer? Ugh. Yeah, Picky Peeves has the info. So, if you don't mind a little bit of lid lift, these are just some of the extra starter decks. I got all the manuals in here. A couple of extra starter decks, and then I got all the combiners here, along with a template for making a main deck. So I can just show you the combiners, because that's fun. So here's Defensor, Superion, Computron, and Victorion. Those are your Autobots. So Victorion, you can see, by the way, this is a different artist who did the art on the actual cards. And then you got the team. Take it easy, Andy. So yeah, like, her whole thing is adversary... Like, her built-in ability is adversary players pay 2 more power to buy cards or battle robots. And so it's like... And also she can pay to gain a relic. Relics are not used in solo co-op unless... Like, you can use them, but they're not balanced for being used in solo co-op. They're meant for PvP. So all of Victorion's abilities are built around you having a human opponent. So if you're playing solo or co-op with her, she's just a body. And you get the abilities on, like, her personal cards, but that's about it. But yeah, these are your Autobots, and then you got your Decepticons. Got Menasor, and the guys. You got Bruticus, and Bruticus, the boyfriends, and the other 3. Got Predaking, and the Fursuiters. And then this guy, Devastator and the Dinobots are in their own expansion that came out earlier. So Devastator debuted the combiner mechanic. But you know, it's all of them. And these are collages. So the individual cards that these guys use in your starter deck, if I recall correctly, these pieces of art are individually on those, so you can see them a bit better. But yeah, Victorion being in here, and also some of the characters that are on the smaller cards that can appear in the actual, like, card market. There are a lot of little victories in there for someone like me who is like I'm hard to deal with in general with this stuff, because I'm like, you know, for instance, Wizards of the Coast will be like, we did Flame War, isn't that great? And I'd be like, that's a great start. And then, you know, But here is just me showing off that you can fit everything for the game sleeved into this box. So this is the original core box, and this is every single card, along with 5 starter decks worth of stuff. So there were 4 starter decks I left out of here, but otherwise every other starter deck is in here. So that is 5 plus 3 plus 3. So that's 11 starter decks plus the combiner starter cards are all in here, along with your setup stuff. So bear in mind, this is 3 core boxes and 3 small expansions all in here. But I like that I can carry this entire game around in this original core box. And the Unicron expansion that's coming out adds 41 main deck cards. The other Unicron stuff I won't be able to fit in here. But if I maneuver some more of the starter decks out of here, I will still be able to get whatever those 41 Unicron main deck cards are into here, so that, like, I'll have a basic solo kit of everything still, and then in my spare parts box will just be, like, extra starter decks and whatnot. There is no Prowless Stater. There is probably... I mean, you can get Prowl into your deck with Devastator. Doable. Also, the 3 core boxes come with all these, like, actually amazing Energon cubes. So that's another little draw to this game. But yeah, the only other thing to really show is that, like, there's a big-ass menu of characters in here. The only other bummer about this game, the character cards are the weirdest frigging size, and the only sleeves that work for this are literally called, colloquially, by companies who sell a sleeve of this size, Hogwarts Battle Sleeves, because that's the only other game that has cards of this size. So one of the low-key campaigns for this silly board game industry we all got to get behind is to have that size renamed to Transformers Deck Builder size sleeves, because friggin' screw Rowling. Get her garbage away from my card sleeves. But here's aside from Bonus Pack 5, so aside from Ramjet and Windblade, because Bonus Pack 5 doesn't seem to exist anymore. I'm waiting for them to make another print run of it. These are all the characters in the game. They all have a robot mode as well. Some of this art is, I believe, Matt Frank on a lot of these, amongst other artists. But, you know, you see in a menu. Here's how they do triple changers. You get an extra card that says choose one of the alt. So you get an alt modes card, and then a robot mode and don't look at this robot mode card. Just put an alt mode on top of me. Also, you'll see some repeats here. This is Optimus from War on Cybertron, so he's more relevant to... I think his robot mode has something relevant to Polities. Yeah, so he cares about the Polities mechanic that the better core box introduced. And then here's your Decepticons. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast patented that folding tech. Six shot, guess what? He's just 3 cards. Which I think is the cutest way to deal with him. It's just like, you know what? He's just 3 cards. Be organized. Don't have a pigsty of a play area. Just be organized. Keep him in a stack. And also, War for Cybertron added these as reference cards, which is friggin' yes! Because before it was a tiny reference card, these are more detailed. And then the only sad thing is, I used to be able to keep all of the character standees with their little plastic stands attached, but that was the thing I had to sacrifice to make everything fit, so now I've got all the standees in here. And I'm hopefully going to be able to fit 6 more in, or, 8 more in. 10 more in. Because that's all the ones I don't have. His secret Magnus Killer mode. That is when you play against Six Shot. Here, I'll show you. When you play against Six Shot as a boss. This is so funny. Like, to represent Six Shot the boss. Where is it? Sorry, it's in here somewhere. Yeah, so if you pull Six Shot as your, like, final boss, you break out the Six Shot deck. So he has a special deck of 6 cards with his own special card back, so that you randomly have an effect go off for one of his modes. So it still doesn't have the Wing Wolf. The Wing Wolf was, I guess, simply too powerful for the deck building game, which is fine. You know, it's anime exclusive. That's gonna happen. Unicron is gonna... I'm gonna see what the box is they put Unicron in. That's my plan. Because whatever Unicron ships in, because Renegade only has the Papercraft Brain Rot on the G.I. Joe game, I think. I'm assuming. So whatever Unicron comes in will have to fit him. And then I might just pivot to that box if it's a different size than this box. The G.I. Joe game has this whole other issue. I'm going to call it an issue. Because it kind of is. Where they keep giving you papercraft objects that are not designed to survive being disassembled and reassembled constantly over and over. So, if you are collecting the G.I. Joe deck building game, you got to deal with all this deranged cardboard paper crafting stuff that was never meant to fit in the box. The USS flag, they have you build a frigging USS flag out of cardboard. And it's like, that's really cool. Where do I put it when I'm not playing with the USS flag? But yeah, as far as I know, like a lot of folding card tech, this is what I gleaned from talking to the WotC people for the year and a half I was able to, is Wizards of the Coast, and thus Hasbro, has patented a lot of weird folding card tech that they just don't talk about, because most of it was patented for stuff like Kaijudo, or other, like, you know, gimmickier, flashier games. Picky Peeves, they never said 6 folding was too expensive. They just never seemed to want to commit to a comment on it, which makes me think that they were probably sitting there like, well, you know, we got something. I'm also trying to ground a lot of this in information from what certain folks were saying as opposed to other folks, because, like, one of the people we talked to a lot who moved on from Wizards of the Coast after the Transformers game ended also moved into the NFT gaming space, which, how do you put this? It makes you go, and then you think about every previous interaction you had with them, and you start going like, and then maybe, like me, you found a 1-hour podcast that he did with some even less well-dressed people from the NFT gaming space, and you listened to that podcast, and you listened to some of his sound bites, and you went like, so it's no besmirchment on the game, because I mean, like, the game was still primarily by a lot of people who I looked into, who do not seem to be in the NFT gaming space. But it was real funny. It was real funny when, like, one of the 2 major contacts that me and Aaron had through all of our podcasting was like pivoting to that, and I'm just like, maybe yours is different. And I listen to the ways that he says his is different, and it's just like, should have screenshotted those expressions for Discord emotes. Wah! Wah! Let me try to remember one of those quotes, because this is like one of the golden ones. Because whatever it was he was doing, I don't even remember the name of it anymore. Their whole approach was that, like, NFT gaming and crypto gaming is too aggressive and too intimidating to get into, and it sounds too much like a scam. And it's like, that's a good start. Where's this going? And then the place where it went was like, we just want to have a good game. So, our game, you don't have to have crypto to interact with our game. Our game just has purchasable assets using a normal marketplace, using normal human money, which then gets converted into cryptocurrency once you buy in. And that way we guide you into the crypto world without you having to face it up front. We simply take on your credit card payment and convert that into whatever the hell the crypto thing was called. So I was like, so your solution, after acknowledging that this looks horrible, is to low-key trick people into engaging with becoming a liquid asset. And thus guide them gently into the downward spiral of trying to get your money back out of the abnormal, non-human, quote-unquote currency pit that it has fallen into. Anyway, that was a weekend I spent just staring like... That was a fun tangent. Basically, I was like, do I pivot into just opening my other two toys, or do I save those for the weekend or later on? I think I'm gonna save them. I don't want to overfill. I want to train myself to appreciate having some stuff to mess with later. Although it would be nice to stream those before Monday, so we'll figure that out. The TF reviewer, what if BBM Optimus's design was in the original movies, and the original Bayverse Optimus design was in BBM, and the Ape and TLK design, I'm assuming AoE, and TLK design was for Rise of the Beasts? If they did that retroactively, I imagine a lot of people who worked on toys for the last decade and a half would, like, let out, like, one prolonged shriek as all of their memories get... and their layered memories and their neuron-connected dependent memories of previous memories all get rejigged and reshaped in their head as, like, their eyes begin to turn, like, incandescent, and, like, their liquefied cortex begins to dribble out of the sides of their mouth while they let out just one inhuman scream. A scream of such a frequency that it audially reprograms your own brain from hearing it to be networked in to this grand decimation of human consciousness, spreading across the world, kind of like a web of annihilation, a wave of an annihilation wave, if you will. And yeah, April, this absolutely sounds like the work of an enemy stand. One of the many it's funny, but also one of the many fun things about Ellie in particular is talking to some friends of mine who have insight into the interactions between, let's call them scams, let's call them fashionable scams, and some of the wider industries we have, and how, like, there are so many people within a lot of these entertainment industries just struggling to keep the snake oil away from their very eager and perhaps uneducated superiors who have all of the money and little worldly experience, who are so pliable to an eager tech snake oil salesman. Oh, Picky Peeves, you found it. I believe the comic company that game was attached to rug pulled, if I understand correctly. So the entire thing imploded twice over. The Annihilation Wave was actually... Annihilus' grand attack in the Annihilation comic book event from the late 2000s. Which the Guardians of the Galaxy films draw many of their references and materials from. Actually. Yeah, Marvel just announced a 7-year deal to do it. Like, basically, there are tons of people there are tons of people who are being made to go on screen to advertise these things. None of them like it. But there's some, like, vapid billionaire dumbass at the top of the chain who has no worldly experience, who goes golfing with some sweaty snake oil tech bro, who relies on the fact that they are about to talk to a billionaire who doesn't know anything, and then sells them on something that the world got over, 1 to 3 years ago, at which point many people who work with the aforementioned, like, billionaire then have to, like, hand peel back out of their brain long and painfully. That's in case you ever have the frustrated question in your head, why is this company still interacting with this stuff? It's because one person who is able to make the call is ignorant enough to be won over, whilst the hundreds of people who work for them, most of them are trying to desperately disassemble this Eiffel Tower of human flesh and dead skin as it is trying to coalesce its gelatinous form around everything that they are working on. Now, ZFTs. That's the real thing. You know about NFTs? Well, our ZFTs, those fix a lot of the problems with NFTs. Number one, we fixed the part where it's a scam. So, our ZFTs, one of the biggest advances we made, and we spent a lot of time programming this into the interface, is that it's a scamless interface. We found all the parts of the coding that had scam in it, and we deleted them and rebuilt them to say not scam, which, if you'll notice, scam is 4 characters, not scam is 7 characters. So that is a 3-fold exponential detail upgrade on our ZFTs over your average scam NFTs. Yeah, Rexodus, I like to remind people through the Z. I like to ruin Z puns by changing it to a Z and then complaining that the pun doesn't make sense. That's one of my favorites. Yeah, Piggy Peeves, that comic company in question imploded last year. Yeah, the whole thing imploded. I don't know where our friend ended up after that. Zedro works, kind of. Speaking of being a monster, someone called out in. I'll do this little bit of ad work here. Hang on a sec. Keyboard. In case you aren't aware, we had a fun little thing on YouTube with myself and 8 other friends, where we did this identity theft special. So, what we did is we all wrote a normal video for our channels, but then we had someone else perform it, and then we went and performed someone else's video on their channel. So it was like, not a 2-way switch, but a 3-way, kind of like musical chairs thing. So I got to do the performance on the video above mine, the 50 Obscure Transformers animated facts that Kean Carlisle wrote. During that, I pronounced it at one point, Michigan. And there was a comment. Oh, is Kean okay? Mimicry? Is Kean... Mimicry? You're asking if Kean's okay? I'm fine. So there was one point where I said Michigan. And then we had a comment in there pop up saying, I did not ever need to know that that's how Evangelist pronounces Michigan. So I said, you should hear what I do to Illinois. And then someone else sent me a message saying, like, I'd be so terrified to see what you might do to Arkansas. And I was like, Arkansas? You should see what I do to Kansas. I love going to Chicago, Illinois. Sorry. Chicago, Illinois. It's a great spot for conventions. You're nearly within sight of... It's not disrespect. I'm redesigning it. I'm making it better. This also leaves out the part where I said Renaissance Centre. No one called that out. I've spelled it correctly with the R-E on the end and pronounced it in French like you're supposed to, because it said Renaissance on the front. No one said the thing about Renaissance Centre. But I have this playlist linked on my Dragonstorm video where that toy guy was playing the part of me. Please do check them out. It's 9 very different videos, and what I can tell you, my mom watched all 9 of them, and she had fun. So if you want to be cool like my mom, you should consider watching through the playlist. Rexodus, you are the first person to notice me say Renaissance Centre. So that's why Prime, I was busy. I was going to call it out. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. As always, and Kian wrote it into the playlist. Like, this is certainly, and we said this at the start of our panel as well, anything we're doing where it says Transformers YouTuber, it is never supposed to be like, these are the Transformers YouTubers. It's just like a really succinct self-descriptor, but I have noticed that, like, it does make some folks wonder, like, oh, is there a selection process? Ergo, why is X, Y, or Z not selected? And it's like, no, it's just like, it's just folks who already are talking, and like, Kian was, if I recall correctly, Kian's the one who suggested this whole idea, kind of was like masterminding the whole thing. So these are all just fun group projects. When we do panels at TFcon, we're just a group submitting a panel. It's nothing that is like officially sanctioned or anything like that. We are simply submitting a panel because we have all done panels together and we have fun doing it. Y'all are cool with Detroit, but you're not cool with Illinois? Excuse me? Chris Muse, another evangelist-specific pronunciation is something I got used to long ago. Yeah, as I said, I like to take what I have to use, and I like to enhance it wherever I can. I love sponges. Sponge cake is real tasty. Especially when they make it in Michigan. So yeah, I wanted to call that out. Also, in case it got lost in the shuffle, I did a Legacy Windblade review before the Dragonstorm one on, like, I put it up on the Sunday. So, you know, you can check that out and see me not flip the shoulder pads up. Probably just years behind. How long has the Canadian faction symbol been on your TF wiki page? Oh, I don't know. I try not to look too deep into the wiki page because I feel like that's not playing ball correctly. Like, I don't like to like suggest changes to it. I think I once stealthily pushed for a change on it via a backdoor connection because there was something in there that was wrong and I forgot what it was. But I haven't really kept track of any updates on it or anything, because, like I said, I feel like that's not playing ball correctly. That'd be like if Optimus Prime, like, stomped over into the TF Wiki and was like, I can't help but notice that you did not call me heroic in any of these instances. Fix it. Rexidus, your Windblade review made me sad because I can't get her or Tarn anymore. Someone else was saying this about Windblade. Wave 1 Deluxes can't possibly be out of circulation already. It's got to be just like a warehouse cycling thing. Like, she's got to roll around again. Because also, it's only April 2nd. She's officially only been out for, like, 3 months. Now, granted, I got her in December, but still. It's the manliest Ojo-sama laugh I've heard in a while. I mean, I got a range on my Ojo. My Ojo can go high, it can go low, it can go grit. Sideswipe Prime, I saw everyone but her and Chase today at Target. Dang it! Walmart is just now getting Wave 1. Okay. Yeah, with Wave 1 Deluxes especially, like... I mean, hey, listen, I'm in Canada and I went through Earthrise, so I know how it can feel. But, like, Wave 1 Deluxes, I always feel like they're eventually going to find their way back, because they are what everything is getting stacked on top of in the warehouse. So at a certain point, usually somewhere... Wave 1 Deluxes find their way back out, usually at the worst possible time for a lot of people. Yeah, you can, Lord. I kind of like to live Ojo's ordinary experience. Was there anything else YouTube-wise I wanted to share? I can't remember. My Walmart only has all forms of Legacy Leaders and Toxitron. I think also... because there are always varying reports, and I mean, this is going to be very hit or miss depending on, you know, person to person, but, like, especially with Wave 1 things, if you have places you can put the word out that you're looking for one, do it. Like, just say, like, hey, just in case someone finds one on a shelf and is willing to do a proxy buy and ship for me, I'm looking for instance, like, Legacy Windblade, because like it seems one of the mutations of distribution in the States now is that everything gets out there to different places. So it's like one sector of the United States will be like, we got no Windblades, whereas another sector is like, we're drowning in Windblades. I've never seen Magnius, vice versa. Logos Miner says Windblade appears to be in stock on Hasbro Pulse if that helps anyone. So yeah, that is another spot. The one that always gets my hackles up is Swathes. Oh yeah, swathes. We cut swathes through the wheat fields with my scythe. The new toy mod is coming up soon, so those will likely get cycled out soon. Did you hear I heard the rumor that they're doing another Star Wars crossover. I'm mostly wondering, is it going to be true collab as an OC, like a new character? Or is it going to be more like the G.I. Joe stuff, which is, like, to me... Zero, you were asking me about this on Blue Sky, because I was saying, like, I'm kind of long-term hoping to go completist on Transformers collab, because it's a giant cast of OCs. That also means that I don't consider G.I. Joe to be part of the line. Because by all people's accounts, and this is not derogatory, but by all people's accounts who have those toys I've ever talked to, the G.I. Joe Transformers are G.I. Joe toys first, and Transformers toys second. Which is fine, but between that and being existing Transformers characters, they just don't feel collab to me. Like, full stop. So I don't consider them to be part of the greater collaborative universe. But I am just, like, swimming in delicious headcanon for, like, the idea of, the science team. You got Gigawatt, you got Ectotron, you got their himbo secretary Maverick, and then you just got all these other disparate operatives that they take on as time goes on in their grand battles against the nefarious Draculus and Frankentron. It writes itself. TF reviewer, you got the SS-102. Congratulations. I never saw Needlenose. I keep forgetting that toy exists, because I never saw Needlenose. Adam Bilmu, I think Yongye pronunciations made me realize you can get words in a certain way and still get work as a VA. Oh, hell yeah. Well, also, ideally, if you're a voice actor, and you have a voice director of any kind of note or skill set, they'll run you through the pronunciations before you get going on the recordings. Picky Peas, the Jurassic Park ones are just more operatives. I think the Jurassic Park ones make for like a full-on side story, because it's like, who are the villains? Who are the villains in the Jurassic Park sets? Because, like, the Autobots are representative of human scumbags. So I think that's a really cool angle, because it can be like, these are operatives of part of the Collab Universe science team, but these are the bad ones. These are the backstabbers, And then the dinosaur Decepticons are kind of like, we're just trying to get by, We're just trying to get by with what we were born to work with. And also, the Ultimate X-Pants is obviously the vehicle that they fly around in. Yeah, Griffman, I wouldn't be surprised if they were going for something with the Mandalorian. Like, that's... Mandalorians look cool. So, like, why not take that as the base idea, right? It would be very funny if Star Wars Collab was their way of doing a HasLab Unicron re-release. Although... apparently at, was it WonderCon? Whatever the convention BMAC went to? In the Q&A, someone asked about the HasLab stuff coming out again, and their current answer is undecided, so it sounds like it's still up in the air. It kind of bummed me out, because they gave the Kickstarter reasoning, which is we want to maintain the value of what our backers paid for, and as a backer, I paid for a toy to exist. I didn't pay to have a toy be rare, in my opinion. And I would fist fight my fellow backers, actually, over that. I would get into the fight. I would be like, we backed to own a thing. We didn't back to own a rare thing. We backed to own a thing that would now exist. If you backed to own a rare thing, that's on you. But I don't think you were guaranteed to have a rare thing. I think you were guaranteed to have a thing that otherwise wouldn't exist. And there's a very fine but important line in that for me. And yeah, oh, Zero, yeah. Backer, like, change the packaging. Change the packaging. Even, you know, strip down some of the parts if you have to. You know, leave out the stretch goals, you know, whatever. But, like, that kind of stuff I'm fine with board game Kickstarters. It's like, whatever. But, like, the actual core thing, to argue that it shouldn't come out to make mine be rare, to me, is absolutely misguided. I feel there's no gain, you know. It's kind of like, the 2019 panel. I'll flip back to here, just so I can get my flow moving towards ending. The panel I was just editing, someone had asked, like, sort of a prolonged question about, like, the notion of collecting for value versus, you know, etc. And, like, it reminded me, because I literally said it, you know, I was like, don't buy any toy with the idea that it will maintain its value. Buy it because you would like to possess it. If you're able to buy it in the hopes that you might be able to flip it later, then, like, whatever, you know, if you got the money. But, like, don't be mad if it doesn't turn out. Like, don't have the expectation of value. Also, yeah, everyone wants Splendid Convoy. And that's why I think that if anything breaks the HasLab barrier to exist outside of a HasLab campaign, it might be Splendid Convoy. But I'm making assumptions about the nature of the steel molds for that project. And there are assumptions I don't expect to get clarified answers on, because I think that stuff treads into, you know, the sort of trade secrets factory stuff, and, you know, whatever. Yeah, picky peeves. Like, if they cut out the Micromasters, it's like perfect. You know, like the Micromasters being exclusives, that makes sense. Like, that's a stretch goal, sure. But also, I'm not too worried about future HasLab stuff for Transformers specifically being that expensive, because at TFcon LA, for instance, this is why I was okay with, or this is how I came to terms with the fact that I could not get Omega Prime during the campaign. That did not line up for me at all. At TFcon LA, there were a lot of Deathsauruses. Not hundreds of them, but there were more than a handful. And they were all selling for between $200 to $250, depending on whether or not you wanted the Micromasters, basically. And I felt like that was a fair price. That was a super fair price, given that you were buying it and taking it from someone in person and leaving with it. You weren't having to have it shipped to you. So I'm like, if I have to pay like a $50 premium, but I can eventually like get Omega Prime in a convention near when it actually comes out, then like, ayo. That's basically paying for the shipping to Canada. Alright, take it easy, Zero. Take it easy, Tygon. Yeah, like Transcoded Titan. Like, to be honest, the idea that an Omega Prime backer would get salty about a Splendid Convoy release specifically is so comical that I would just go like, hey, let's all just point and laugh until they stop. You know, like, they're releasing a yellow version of my exclusive toy that was red. Ooh, you know, like, sit back down. I don't know what YouTube video you're trying to make, but sit back down. Go make something of greater value than this. And yeah, like in Canada, we have to pay fairly harsh shipping on HasLab stuff because free HasLab shipping is now a Pulse Premium perk. And Pulse costs more for a Canadian, or Pulse Premium costs more for a Canadian than HasLab shipping. So, While Splendid Convoy came with a Magnus, it's just that the differences were some parts were black, but not enough to look different. So, I think that Magnus kind of just got lost to the headcanon seas. I don't know that there was ever a name invented for that Magnus. Because if I remember right, it was just like some of the gray parts were black. Are they? No, they're not black. They're darker though, right? Like, wasn't that the whole thing? Is like some of the parts that weren't dark were dark, but the blue was still blue, so it mostly looks the same at a glance. Oh, mimicry. Yeah, you folks in Australia were screwed. It was cheaper to go through an American buying it and shipping it to you. Dr. Lockdown and Chris Carnage both had a lot of info about that for future things. Dr. Lockdown, I think, has a video up, but it was cheaper for an Australian fan to have an American purchase it for them and then ship it to Australia from America as a private citizen, than to purchase it in Australia for the comical markup that Australian fans had to deal with. Okay, Griffman, the blue parts are darker blue. Okay. I knew something was darker. But at a glance, it's kind of like, you know, it's like this. Is this Thundercracker or the Troop Builder Seeker? You know, and it was kind of like that for that Magnus. A little more pronounced on the Magnus, but still, it was like close enough that it was certainly not, oh, Fire Convoy's yellow now. You know, like that's very different. Yeah, mimicry. It's like, and it's a full-on package too. Well, I wonder. It would be hard, but if you threw blue bolts in as part of the deal, there is an audience for blue bolts as a solo purchase. I wonder if you would have been able to flip a Magnus. I'm curious if anyone can flip a Magnus. Like, I know there's going to be people out there who would take it, but like, I wonder how many. Dinobot Combiner, thoughts on Legacy Evolution Animated Prowl. That is my next video that I will hopefully have up on Friday or Saturday. Capsule thoughts are, I like him more now than when he was the only animated toy in Legacy. But the parts that I like the least are the parts that I thought wouldn't be a problem. That being the rear of the bike mode and the throwing stars. The throwing stars are the biggest problem for me. The throwing stars just didn't turn out. It'll happen, you know. I was having that conversation the other day about how, like, with physical objects like toys, there needs to be critique, but I think there also needs to be a greater acceptance that, like, sometimes things just don't work out, because you can't patch toys without, you know, like, 3D printing a bunch of little bits and pieces. So, like, if a thing on a toy doesn't turn out, sometimes it's too far along, or it's just not known that something's going to turn out until the mass production has begun, and thus, this one just didn't turn out. But I kind of feel like, on a very base level, discourse around action figures does not allow for a lot of imperfection as being acceptable, to a degree that I would call minorly unhealthy. It's not terrible, but like every now and then I kind of realize, like, if anything goes wrong, it's treated as correctable. When the nature of projects, especially ones that are under a corporate franchise scheme, perfection is like a miracle under those scenarios, as opposed to the expectation when you're on the working end of it, I think. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a nuanced conversation, because it certainly is not like we're doing it wrong, but there's something on the base level of the conversation that I think still has a bit of a misguided tone. But I don't know what the corrective method for that would be, other than just to, like, talk about toys the way I like to talk about them. Yeah, Picky Peas, I was convinced that the constant talk about Titan Master compatibility was going to be like Titan Master Tai or Titan Master Koji. I was like, dang, they keep bringing it up. And, like, the things I'm talking about, like, you know, you can't be aggressive about them because, like, this stuff is so base level. it's baked in, right? You can't like you can't replace the flour in a half-baked cake, I guess would be the way I'd put it. Yeah, it's that Uncle Iroh from the show that I certainly have watched. It's got the right idea. Well, yeah, like the Gamer Edition Starscream cockpit is like, it's a great exercise because it's kind of like, it is a completely valid criticism to make that has an answer that was provided from the design level as to why that happened. And it's kind of like, accepting that answer does not make your criticism invalid. It simply informs your criticism. So, accept the information and maintain the criticism. It's a shame that the cockpit turned out this way because the decision at the fork in the road went this way, and the end result was this. It's unfortunate. I just don't like how it turned out, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I got no opinion on that because I haven't handled Gamer Edition Starscream, and I've seen photos where the cockpit looks bad, and I've seen photos where it looks good, so I think it's one of those physical objects with angles things. Yeah, Sideswipe Prime. I feel like also a way that HasLab should be marketed is that they're being made. You are backing it to have it exist. You're not backing it to have a one-of-a-kind item. But that's you and many others have been subject to my rantings about that now. There was a very patient crowd at TFcon LA who was putting up with me ranting about that for like 10 minutes about the, in my opinion, misguided marketing of HasLabs. Bun Yeast, have you kept up with any current Tokun? I'm a little behind. I'm going to be watching Geats soon because now it's coming out officially and I never saw it. So, like, I get to watch it with, like, Fort Max encoding and proper subs, so hooray. I don't know. Not official subs. Nothing wrong with fan subs. Actually, I prefer fan subs in some instances. Depends on how they localize some things. But I get to watch it on a streaming service officially. Because it's up on Tubi now. I haven't started yet. And I get to own Blu-rays officially someday, maybe. I don't know. I'm not in a rush to buy that Blu-ray set because it's kind of expensive. But, yeah, I missed Geats. And so, like, when they announced it as the next localized series, I was kind of low-key going, woo! I heard it's good! Localize a good show I haven't seen yet. And I'm all like, hooray. Emperor Nova 01, did you ever find your Bold Forms Gladius? I need to double check. I know his box is up there, way up there. I just can't remember if he's in the box. If he's not in the box, he's in one of 4 plastic tubs in 3 different locations in my apartment, and I would not remember which one he's in. I'm not going to tone down the excitement. I'm going to amp it up. Woo! Oh, yeah, I mean, there's sometimes where complaints are just like, it's a valid complaint as far as, like, someone's subjective taste. It's just kind of like, you know, for instance, the Target multi-pack should have been sold individually. It's like, well, Target wanted a multi-pack, so they got a multi-pack. Like, a lot, especially those buzzworthy things. My understanding with buzzworthy, it's kind of like nonsensical buzzworthy releases are, these toys would not exist, or they exist like this. Shrug. The Party Wallop thing is kind of like, no, it's actually good that it's not a 4-pack. It's good that they have a 5th head and a 2nd chest plate, because that means it's a character called Party Wallop, which is better. That means it's in the collaborative universe, in my opinion. Yeah, Geats just went up on Tubi, if I recall correctly. I saw a social media post somewhere, and I was having a conversation at some point of like, do the Geats Blu-rays mean it goes up on Tubi? Because I was asserting, like, the standard is everything that they do goes up on Tubi. on, Tokushoutsu or whatever. And then some of it comes out on disc, but all of it goes up on streaming. Which was something they, I think, should have been louder about when they did the Geats Blu-ray reveal. Robot Lurkeeper, that was a whole exclamation mark. That's right. And I got plenty more of those stocked up in here. I can use them whenever I want. Geats is a Kamen Rider television series that came out in the year... Oh, I don't even remember. Yeah, Akan Lord. It's not, and it's both strategies Hasbro thought they needed to take to put those figures out, but it's also strategies that accommodate the big box retailers. Because, like, more and more people are becoming aware of this, but, like, one of the most important things I ever learned from people who work in the toy industry is that in North America, the retailers have a lot of final say in how toys come out and get released. It is not a relationship where the retailers come to Hasbro and say, please give us some stuff to sell. It is Hasbro goes to the retailers and says, please take our things to sell. Please accept and purchase the things we wish to have you sell to people. So if Walmart or Target or Toys R Us or anyone or GameStop, etc., say like, we don't want it, then it can't exist because no retailer is purchasing it to then sell. So in the States especially, or North America especially, the retailers have enormous power to be able to influence all the different micro decisions, even things like, we can't have two purple cars in the same wave, stuff like that. This stuff doesn't look good on an end cap. We gotta... I think this was on the podcast recently. That's why we have, like, multiple disparate lines rather than just one mono line that's always coming out. That's why Studio Series is such, like, what I would call an aberration to the norm, is because big box retailers want constantly refreshed, colorful, but also compact and good on the shelf packaging that is also not too compact, because if it's too compact, no one's going to look at it. It's got to still be eye-catching, but also if it's too big, then we don't want to carry that. That doesn't fit on our shelves properly, etc., etc. Blue Desaya is asking, what about Saint Louis? What about Saint Louis? Hang on. Geats on Tubi sounds like something my mom would make up to demonstrate how she thinks I sound talking about young people things. Listen! You're right. Damn it. Alan Weaver, 2022. Okay, that's when... Yeah, it was just before Gotchard. Gotchard, another word that you should be taking at face value as being completely normal. Yeah, Picky Peeves, that also, that eventually starts sounding like folks that I would probably, like, start keeping at an arm's length. Like, if the quote is, quote, even the design team knows Legacy Sandstorm sucks compared to the T-31, end quote, then it's kind of like, I'm glad you got that off your chest. See you at your birthday. Anyway, I should probably start wrapping stuff up. But I will be back on Thursday, which I feel really cool to say. I'm going to schedule that later tonight. Going to be doing some local area Elden Ringing on Thursday. I'm a little busy Friday, Saturday, but Saturday night, maybe, I'll crack open some toys. We'll see how things look. Saturday night would probably be the next one after the next one. But I will do my best to keep scheduling these at least a few hours in advance so they show up in subscriber feeds and etc. And you get, enough advanced knowledge about them. But as always, streams that I do are also always, unless like something horrible happens, automatically turned into public VODs that you can watch later on in the live tab on my channel. I don't know why I'm really like saying that in detail, because if you're watching this as a VOD, you already know that. And thank you. They're more just people that are orbiting the space with the cool people I know. Oh, yeah, that'll happen. I find with folks who get really worked up to comical degrees, it's kind of like exercises to figuring out like how can I like with empathy calm someone down. Especially if people get mad, then it's kind of like, yo, one of my favorite ones. I don't do it a whole lot, but like one of my favorite go-tos in my head is always like if someone's really just going off, if you like keep track of the time and it's been like 5 whole minutes of them just going off forever and ever, just go like, hey, that's really cool, but like, do you see anything cool lately? Did you have fun with something lately? Because I distinctly recall once or twice I've done that with folks who like struggle to say they've had fun or saw something cool lately, and then like my empathy simply grows and I'm like, oh man, you're just angry and sad. We gotta find something cool for you to have fun with, because it ain't good if you're just mad and angry all the time. I am missing something here. You want to be TFcon, you want to be in a Lego Transformers co-op, so who should you build? Cliffjumper or Wheeljack? Well, I'd say whoever you have the parts for, because those are 2 distinct color schemes, and that brick costs money. V-Rider, hello, welcome back. I'm sort of moving into the wind down. In general, it's yeah, Picky Peeves. It's kind of like it's an ocean to ride upon on a surfboard, but you're finding that sort of, you know, that thread the needle of like, even irritating criticisms can often be valid if they're fully subjective, and then people can also just be irritating if they just keep yelling about how they hate things all the time. Then just try to figure out like, hey, do you have, you know, you make gentle eye contact. Maybe you just reach out and touch their cheek for a second and go like, do you enjoy yourself ever? And how can we make sure that you do at some point? Because we love you. Anyway, hope that was helpful. Oh, this is one of the cool guys talking about liking. Okay, I didn't see the ape face thing. I was still thinking about the previous thing. D Rice Raid passing through. Welcome on your crossroads to your destination. I hope that you have fair and lovely journeys as you proceed. Things got creepy. I'm just trying to look out for a hypothetical straw man I've been building. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, Thursday Elden Ringing. Maybe Saturday night, cracking open some fresh stuff. V-Rider, you mentioned before. It's like you don't have to like force happiness or anything. This is really like a self-care thing. It's just like, if you're angry about stuff all the time, that'll rot your brain. To sound like someone's dead. It'll rot your mind like candy. Like candy rots your teeth. But yeah, it is exhausting to be mad all the time. So like, it is good for yourself to find a way to be happy about something more often than you're mad about something. In the grander picture, I mean, and, you know, I always will couch these things with like, by the way, on topics of like, you know, like bigotry or genocide or other horrible things. Like, no, you're allowed to be angry about those. In this case, the self-care is more like, make sure you're maintaining functionality of your meat computer so that you can be someone who can help those in need when they need it. So you aren't, you know, like you're not like a puddle with like steam coming out of your ears because you overloaded, right? You gotta look after yourself. Ain't never not selfish to look after yourself at any given time. So don't feel guilty about it. Ain't never, positive, not negative, selfish. Therefore, it is not selfish. Yeah, ain't never not selfish. Yeah, I mean, there's electricity and stuff. It's got to be a meat computer. It's messed up. It's messed up that I can get electrocuted by my own brain. Sending a friggin' community letter to the devs over that one, but, you know, they never reply. Let's turn this on. As someone who doesn't know how to end conversations, in the context of streaming, turning this music on is a really great way to make myself move on to closing things out. Who knew Leitmotif had such power? Yeah, patch notes. Some players reported ooh, owie. Fix. Anyway, yeah, take care out there. Hope you all have a good week ahead, as best you know, as good a week as you can. Hope you can find some happiness in there if it's looking kind of heavy. And we all got each other's back on this planet. So, in so much as I can like look at a stream and have a one-sided conversation with you at the very least. Take it easy, and I will catch you all later. Would you cut me one slice of the meat cake in your head?
Let them come.